Roll call. Here.
Here. Here.
We do have a quorum. Yeah, that's on our own. Pledge of allegiance and salute the Texas flag.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Testimony or oath of presenters, please be advised if you are here today to present, you are under oath. Public comments. 1.6, approval of minutes of regular meeting November 24, 2025.
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Actually, you do have on the minutes, 1.6, Ms. McDaniel. There was a clarification, I guess clarification. You had advised me in regards to, what number item was it? On 3.35, the Commissioner's responsibilities regarding the food bank. I had advised, as far as I understood it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Talamantes, as far as she understood it, the motion had passed, is what I had said at the Commissioner's Court.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You said 3.25?
3.35.
3.35.
Regarding your authority to choose the kind of food for the food bank. However, in coming back to the minutes, Ms. McDaniel had advised me that, in fact, Commissioner Urenda, right here, Commissioner Talamantes, 3.35. In fact, the way it was understood was that the motion had passed, which gave you and the other commissioners authority to go ahead and order your own food. However, that motion did not pass. The motion was made by you, second by me. However, I was advised after the fact that Commissioner Well, you saw it. I think you're on the wrong one. You're on the wrong one.
You're correct.
Commissioner Urenda, in fact, had abstained. So therefore, the motion was 2 for and 2 against. And Commissioner Urenda abstained, therefore the motion failed. So just for clarification purposes, the continuance of the ordering of the food bank and all that still lies within the authority of Ms. Miranda.
I think that the hiccup wasn't the ordering process. It was the no delivering to the elderly. That was the part that was in question.
Correct.
So.
Well, because I'm not going to go into detail, we'll have to put it back on this. It's not an agenda item.
I just don't understand why we need to vote on something that technically isn't our rules. We're following it was a clarification from the food bank rules. So why do we need to vote on rules that?
Because the reason why I'm also bringing it up, Commissioner, is because Mr. Pereira visited with me on Friday and advised me that there was still some concern from Ms. Miranda in regards to, I guess, you requesting food to be ordered. And based on the minutes, she's the one that still has the sole authority to order whatever she wants to order.
Yeah, so I did ask Ms. Miranda to alter if I was going to be allowed to make some changes to it, because again, from the food bank, they said that it was up to us if we wanted to, we did it. the fact that we hired an employee to do it for them, then like it was fine, then it was through the court, but through them, it wasn't. As long as the order process still moves through, I'm not trying to remove Ms. Miranda from the ordering process, but Ms. Miranda, the same way that she sent me the order form, and then I sent her back my corrections. Now, if it wasn't possible to do or able to do it, I understand that, and I do know that there's gonna be different times when that's gonna be the case in the situation, because I may make some changes, but it may not be there when it's there. So, I mean, as far as that goes, I just don't understand why we're voting on something that technically isn't ours.
Well, this was an agenda, 3.25 was an agenda item that you had requested to be on the agenda, so that's what was
Yeah,
voted
so we
on.
can have the discussion on it, but I mean, we can wait to clarify it up if we need to clarify it up. I think that the only thing is that it wasn't so much the ordering the food process. I think that we got a little bit thrown off track when we suggested like no delivering to the homes, which again, that's something that Commissioners Court, even if we voted for to do, that's something that's a rule through the food bank and not through
That's how it's
us.
supposed to be done.
So like, we can't even vote on that on our end because it's their rule, not ours.
And I understand what you're saying. For me, like I said, for me, it was more of a clarifying because Mr. Pereira reached out to my office on Friday advising me that there was concerns regarding the ordering. And so that's what I thought your authority, that you thought your authority was coming from, was that we voted for you to go ahead and you're allowed to order what you want.
I just didn't think honestly that I needed authority to work together, to get things done, but we can wait to put it on the next agenda item.
So just for the record, Ms. McDaniel, that motion did in fact fail, which entailed everything that was being requested that day from Commissioner Talamantes, excuse me.
Yeah,
Because it was 2-2 and then 1 abstention, so it didn't pass.
So I had,
so
I don't
just,
need to make any changes.
No,
No.
because she had a remark.
so just for
regarding-
clarification, do I need the court's permission to order the food?
From my distinct understanding, the authority, unless you want to put it on the next agenda and you have something in writing that says to the contrary, from my distinct understanding, Ms. Miranda is the one that has the sole authority to order whatever food she feels is necessary and needed for County of Dimmit, without any of the commissioners, I guess, advising her on what to order. Unless you have something to the contrary, I mean, you can put it back on the agenda, but I guess that's kind of where the concern lied on Friday when Mr. Pereira came to talk to me. And I thought, that's what I'm saying, for purposes of the record, I thought it had passed. I thought, and what I had recalled, excuse me, if I can give me some water, please. What I thought and what I recalled was that Commissioner, thank you. What I thought and what I recalled was that Commissioner Urenda voted for it as well. And so I had told Mr. Pereira that you in fact did have authority to tell Maribel or Ms. Miranda what she could order. But Mr. Pereira and Ms. McDaniel advised me, and then Ms. Hernandez got the minutes, and it showed to the contrary that Commissioner Urenda in fact did not vote. She abstained. So then that means that 2-4 and 2 again, so the motion failed. So therefore, the authority remains in Ms. Miranda and Ms. Miranda only.
Okay, so
Judge, I think that we need, from here on, we need to vote or speak to the mic and make clarification when we vote, because my understanding was he was for it. So I never heard him abstain. So we need to make clarifications every time we vote to speak to the mic and say our concerns or speak on the mic, because I thought it had passed and we were moving forward with it.
Because
I never heard any abstention.
Because like on your end, do I need permission from the court to ask like just for specifics to like kind of edit?
Like I said like I told you before, and I told the court, I'm in charge of Maribel for sanitation, not the food bank. The food bank, she's the sole person for the food bank. So that's something with the food bank.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is, if you want to bring it back to have authority, just put agenda item, but for right now, we can't really go into discussion for that,
Okay.
other than just the clarification that in fact that motion failed.
Okay, can I ask for clarification though? if you are on the losing side of a motion, to Robert's rules of order to allow you to bring it back, if you don't.
Say that again, Ms. Miranda, I'm sorry.
She cannot bring it back, but somebody else can bring it back,
So I can't place it on the agenda.
because your motion died.
Judge Mathis,
Yes, sir.
that's why I always ask, am I the only one voting, or, because I only hear one vote sometimes, sometimes we hear two, and that's the misinformation that goes out there.
I just wanted to,
I just wanted to clarify that because I've said it before, speak to the mic or raise your hand, and we'll go from there.
just wanted to clarify for the record, Ms. McDaniel, because that was a question that Mr. Pereira also had as well, and when we got the minutes, obviously it showed that the motion failed. 2.1, informational presentation of biennial sexual assault report, team report, Winter Garden Women's Shelter.
Good morning, Judge,
Good morning.
Commissioners. I come before you today to present the biennial report for our sexual assault response team for Dimmit and Zavala. So I came before you in 2023 with an oral report. Back then, we didn't have any guidance as far as a standard template or what meant that the report should be submitted to Commissioners Court. And so in working with our sexual assault, our state sexual assault coalition, the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, they have been very essential and in providing guidance for us. And so they did provide this template comes directly from them, and they are working directly with the Office of the Governor, which is the office that is handling the sexual assault response team, or that is doing the overview, should I say, across the state of Texas. And so you should have a copy of it in your packets. And so just to give you just a brief history on the sexual assault response team, this response team was created as a result of Senate Bill 476, which is a state mandate. And so what that bill mandates that every county in the state of Texas have a sexual assault response team. And the intention is to make sure that victims and survivors of sexual assault have access to health care and resources needed during after their victimization and during their recovery period. And so, and not only access to health care, but to make sure that all the agencies that are mandated to participate work together to ensure that there is not a lapse in resources or a lapse in the judicial system. And so that's what the intention is, and this sexual assault response team is only for adults, because all sexual assaults of children go through the child advocacy centers, their MDT groups. So with that said, the compliance of this SART falls on the county. Failure to comply with having an active sexual assault response team and failure to comply with biennial reporting could result in a loss of funds coming from the Office of the Governor, particularly the Public Safety Office of the Office of the Governor. And so our organization has taken the initiative to start this SART since the very beginning in 2021. And we have brought all the players in, and since the majority of some of the players, should I say, we cover both Dimmit and Zavala, so we decided to do a regional, and that was approved by both Commissioners Court back in 2021. And now I'll get into the report. So the executive summary, I don't know if you had an opportunity to read it. It just says what this report is about, what the objectives are, which is what I already mentioned. And if at any time you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. The objectives are, again, the intent to make sure that victims and survivors of sexual assault have proper access to health care and resources. The main activities that the SART has been conducting is making sure that we have all the mandated agencies participating. We have had a high turnaround, and especially in law enforcement, some in the medical or the healthcare facilities that participate on the SART. So it was a little difficult developing our protocols, and so we finally were able to do that. So we now have established protocols for every agency participating in the SART. They have been approved by the SART as well, and they are included in this packet as well for your reference. So what that includes is a medical response and process, advocacy support and crisis intervention, staffing of ongoing sexual assault cases, legislative updates, training, prevention, and community education, protocol review, any feedback to ensure continual improvement, and trauma-informed practices to implement across agencies in the sexual assault response process. And so every agency in this team is responsible or contributes to all of these main activities that are listed here. The legal mandates, it just goes into detail where the mandate comes from. This is the mission, 7.5 states our mission. This mission was developed by the SART itself. And then section 3, outline of activities and trainings. And so what this is, this gives you a timeline of all the activities that we have conducted, a list of all the meetings that we've had since the inception of this team, which was in 2021. And it also has a list of all the agencies that are participating and that are, and currently we only have agencies that are mandated to participate. It is up to the group to allow other agencies, if requested, to participate, but it has to be voted upon the group, the team. And at this time, since we haven't been staffing any cases, we haven't felt the need to include anyone else in the team. And so section 4 is data and findings. And so our SART coordinator did reach out to the law enforcement agencies in Dimmit and Zavala to request information of sexual assault offenses for the last 2 years. And we only received, in 2023, between Dimmit County Sheriff's Office, Zavala County Sheriff's Office, and the City of Crystal City's Police Department, there was only 5 sexual assault cases reported. In 2024, there was 13 sexual assault cases reported, and in 2025, that number increased to 19. So as you can see, there has been an increase. Our agency itself has seen an increase in sexual assaults throughout our service area. And then there is another item or another report that has 0 under all 3 years, which is a completion of a SANE. A SANE is a sexual assault nurse examiner. They are certified to perform sexual assault exams, sexual assault forensic exams. And since Dimmit County Regional Hospital does not have a SANE, exams are not done here in Dimmit County. However, we have partnered with the South Texas Regional Advisory Council in San Antonio because they do have a sexual assault nurse examiner advisory committee. And so with that, they have partnered with the Texas Forensic Nurse Examiners Group out of Houston, and we have also established an MOU with them as well. And so we have established the MOU because they do have SANEs that are dispatched to hospitals throughout South Texas. They cover 22 counties. And so the intent is to have a sexual assault nurse examiner available for each one of the 22 counties in the state of Texas. Right now, the furthest that they go is Frio County because they did not have enough funding to cover the 22 counties. However, they did receive a grant from the Department of Justice that will allow them to hire 4 additional sexual assault nurse examiners, which will be housed out of Uvalde, and those nurse examiners will be dispatched to other hospitals throughout our region, in particular, Dimmit Regional, Uvalde, Valverde Regional, Maverick. So all of these hospitals in our area that currently don't have sexual assault forensic exam capability will have them, hopefully, by mid-year 2026. And so,
I have a question.
yes,
Is the DA's office required to give that information?
yes,
They just didn't provide it for this one?
yes.
You said the DA?
The district attorney's office.
Yes, and we have record of the emails that were sent to each agency, each agency on this team. And we also have the responses that we received. So we did not receive any information from their office. However, we're
So
glad.
do they even attend the quarterly meetings?
I was going to get to that, yes. We're glad that we now have an active participant from the DA's office, because initially for the first maybe Angelica, how long has it been that Brenda has been participating? Maybe since last year, midsummer? Yeah, so maybe in the last year and a half, they have been participating. They have an active member that attends the SARC meetings. So I got a little sidetracked. So yes, that is the intention, our memorandum of understanding. So we provide advocacy. What that entails is it's called hospital accompaniment. Whenever there is a victim that goes to a hospital and they call us, and so we have sexual assault advocates on staff that are on call 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they get dispatched to the hospital that the victim is going to. And so they are there to provide accompaniment to the victim. Our agency is a certified sexual assault program through the Office of the Governor. And so therefore, we are allowed to be in the exam room should the victim want us to be in the exam room. We are the only agency in this region that can provide that level of accompaniment because of our certification from the Office of the Governor. And so we do have 13 sexual assault advocates that are on rotation, that are on call to serve all the different areas that we cover. And so then after the data and the findings, it's just some information on what a SAFE is, a sexual assault forensic exam. Our program advocates, our sexual assault program advocates, the member roles and definitions. And then it goes into the protocols for each agency, starting with law enforcement. And it explains where they take their victims when they have a victim in need of a sexual assault forensic exam. It goes through all their processes and protocols. The second one would be the medical support. In this case would be Dimmit Regional Hospital, which is the largest healthcare facility in Dimmit County and Zavala County. And then it would go into advocacy, which is where we fall under, Winter Garden Women's Shelter. And then we have the district attorney's office for Dimmit and Zavala. And then we don't have a protocol for Camino Real MHMR, and I'm not sure why we don't have a protocol for them in here. They fall under advocacy with us, right? I think. Camino Real. I'm not really sure. I'll have to get back with you on that because I just noticed it right now. And then item 6 is evaluation of protocols. And this just says when our protocols were presented to the group on June 25th and they were adopted. And then it also says that the SART was established during the mandate period. However, the combined impact, I'm just going to go read this evaluation of protocols and the conclusion because I feel it's very important information that you should know. The SART was established during the mandate period. However, the combined impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and significant staff turnover limited the team's ability to conduct its intended activities. During this time, the SART prioritized building a strong structural and operational foundation by using the guidance provided by TASA to develop bylaws, formalize protocols, and ensure cross-agency training on the purpose and roles of each participating agency. As a result, the Dimmit Zavala SART elected not to conduct a case review at this stage. The team remains committed to initiating a comprehensive review once an eligible case, one that meets all legislative and procedural requirements, becomes available. We remain fully committed to strengthening interdisciplinary collaboration and enhancing coordinated services for sexual assault survivors through the county. So this evaluation and response was necessary because this report is required to be submitted to the Sexual Assault Task Force that was established by the Office of the Governor, and this report has to be submitted by February 1st of 2026. And so if the court needs assistance, in submitting this report, we can facilitate that process as well. And the conclusion for this report is that the Dimmit Zavala SART understands that prioritizing long-standing relationships between interagency contributing partners is essential in improving the shared mission. Moreover, the communities of Dimmit and Zavala can be reassured knowing that SART members understand the unique needs of a remote population impacted by linguistic and cultural barriers. We remain committed to strengthening the processes and agencies that support survivors of sexual violence within county lines. Dimmit and Zavala counties are fortunate to have dedicated professionals from many disciplines working together for the betterment of this cause. Dimmit Regional Hospital has entered into a memorandum of understanding with the South Texas Regional Advisory Council to begin offering sexual assault forensic exams on site through the Texas Forensic Nurse Examiner starting in 2026. Access to an on-site sexual assault nurse examiner will significantly reduce the time and burden associated with transporting survivors across county lines for forensic exams, ensuring more immediate and trauma-informed care. Furthermore, Winter Garden Women's Shelter has entered a memorandum of understanding with the Texas Forensic Nurse Examiner Center for Forensic Excellence to ensure comprehensive support for survivors undergoing the sexual assault forensic exam process. Through this partnership, WWS provides trained sexual assault advocates who offer hospital accompaniment, crisis intervention, and ongoing advocacy to victims throughout the forensic examinations. We maintain a rotating on-call schedule of certified advocates who are available 24/7 to respond to all hospitals within the WWS service area. This coordinated approach strengthens survivor-centered care, improves collaboration with medical professionals, and ensures victims receive compassionate support at every stage of the exam process. Nonetheless, we recognize that progress is an ongoing process and that challenges will continue to arise. Our SART partners remain committed to adapting and refining our practices as the social needs of the community evolve. As a SART, our priority is to strengthen a survivor-centered, multifaceted approach that transcends disciplines and places the needs of each individual at the forefront. Our purpose is to ensure that every survivor is heard, supported, and empowered. And as we conclude this year's biennial report, we recognize the collective dedication of our SART partners. Our commitment to supporting survivors and strengthening the resilience of our community remains steadfast.
So we wouldn't know, we would not be able to ascertain if any of the cases were actually prosecuted, right? Because you don't have those numbers from the DA's office?
No, in some cases, and the reports that we received from every law enforcement agency were very different. I guess everyone has a different reporting system, I'm not really sure. But we received the data in different formats, and some of it was very vague, and some of it had memos as to this is an ongoing case, this is still pending investigation, or things like that. And so what we requested was information for those cases that actually were prosecuted, and what were the results, but we didn't get any of that information back.
Mr. Manager,
You go ahead too.
on the first response, I saw there's an 800 number.
Yes.
Is that a number where they, let's just say, somebody from here decides to bypass the sheriff's office to report that assault?
Mhm.
Is this the number that they would call, or, and then they would get dispatched from there, or is it?
What section are you looking at?
I'm on the first response advocacy women.
Oh, the Winter Garden
It's a
Women's Shelter?
hotline.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
that's our hotline. If they wanted to report a sexual assault, they could definitely call us, and then we will assist them if they need access to a sexual assault exam, whatever it is that they need.
Right, but
One thing that victims and survivors are entitled to is that they do not have to report a sexual assault exam, even if they're at the hospital, to law enforcement. That is their right. They don't have to report, and so they don't have to go through the law enforcement agency to report a sexual assault. They can seek access to health care for it, but they don't have to report it. However, they do have, if a rape kit is done, the rape kit is held for 5 years, and after 5 years, DPS will be in contact with the victim. And if they wish to report, they can still report at that time. If they wish not to report after 5 years, the rape kit will be discarded.
just want to say that. Thank you.
I do have a quick question. SANE is a rape kit, or is it a different form?
No, SANE is a sexual assault nurse examiner. It's a person who is certified to actually perform a sexual assault forensic exam.
Okay, so it's just two different things. So you can get a rape kit done here in Dimmit County, but you can't get a SANE specialist?
You actually can. Every hospital is mandated to perform a sexual assault forensic exam. However, they have to inform the victim that they do not have a certified person to conduct the exam, to perform the exam, which would be a SANE. But they can do it, however, they haven't done it. We did reach out to the hospitals and they didn't have any numbers to report because all victims are are immediately transferred to another facility. And so,
I don't think they mess with it at all.
no, I don't think so. And so, there's also another service that is called Text Track, which is a hospital that participates in Text Track. And there are some in our region that do participate. It is a program that is offered by Texas A&M. And what they do is they have a virtual sexual assault nurse examiner guiding a nurse that has been trained at the local hospital to perform the exam and to do evidence collection. However, some nurses in the ER do not want to conduct those exams, perform those exams, because of the potential of them being called to testify, because they're not actually certified or, sexual assault nurse examiners. And so that's the feedback that we received from some of the nurses in our teams, that they chose not to train and not to be one of those nurses that would perform those exams. But hopefully, we should have access to a SANE here soon in 2026 at Dimmit Regional, since they've already signed an agreement or an MOU with STRAC. So, and I'd just like to add that our agency has expanded its services. Originally for the longest time, we have been providing services. Our service area included Dimmit, Zavala, LaSalle, and Maverick. And so now we are providing services in Valverde County, in which we have a secondary shelter there. We're providing services in Kinney County. We are providing sexual assault services, only sexual assault services in Uvalde and Frio County. So now we are covering 8 counties and possibly going into Medina, because we are responding to Medina County, which is in Hondo, because they do dispatch SANEs there. So if there's not a SANE available in Uvalde or in Frio, they're going to Hondo. And so we are dispatching our advocates to Hondo. So we're dispatching to Uvalde, Hondo, and Frio right now, because those are the places that have the SANEs.
Thank you, Ms. Guzman.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you keeping a record of the number of victims that refuse to go get a SANE exam?
No. If they don't come through our agency, we don't have any information. But if they go to the hospital and they
Sheriff's Department.
or through the sheriff's department and they refuse the SANE, well, we don't have any information about that.
But I've advised the Sheriff's Department and the investigators in the past to just document in the reports that the victim refused to go, because they're willing to escort them.
Right.
That's the other thing. The Sheriff's Department will escort them to San Antonio or wherever there's a SANE nurse. I know the sheriff has done that in the past. So the services are there if the victim wants it. The sheriff's department can transport it. But we've had cases where they allege sexual assault, then they refuse to go get the SANE exam.
And it's not uncommon. It happens often, especially when a victim goes through a sexual assault and they go to the hospital and then they're told that they cannot have the exam performed there and they have to go to another healthcare facility. They are re-traumatized, and so a lot of times they will refuse it. Normally, in order to get essential evidence collection, they have there's a 72-hour period, a 72-hour window of when of the time that they have to get a sexual assault forensic exam done that would still provide enough evidence.
Now, you mentioned the 5-year limitation that the lab will hold the evidence. Now, if a prosecutor wants it held longer because they have a pending case, an indictment, or maybe a misdemeanor case where they can charge a lesser included offense, the prosecutor, if they're notified, can request that be held longer, correct?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for your help in the less protected.
Sure. Thank you, and to your office for your quick response for that case. And just one more thing I'd like to add is that our agency has purchased supplies to carry hospital accompaniment kits. So anytime that one of our advocates is dispatched to a hospital for accompaniment of a sexual assault victim, we take a tote bag that includes a change of clothing, underclothing, sweats, t-shirts. It also has hygiene products and other things like snacks and things of that sort, because a lot of times their clothes is taken into evidence collection, and so it's collected for evidence. And so we do provide that. That's another service that we provide when we do hospital accompaniment. So I thank you for your time. If there's any other questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. One last thing, on the evidence collection,
Yes.
make sure that you check with the sheriff department that the evidence is kept in separate bags, because we don't want it contaminated. Because we could lose the evidence to prosecute a case.
And we are working on bringing additional training from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and they provide training that is specialized for every agency that participates in the SART.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 3.1, approval of bonds.
No bonds, Judge.
3.2, we've been advised by the NW group that they will not be in Commissioner's Court this morning, so I'm going to motion to table this item. Can I
Motion.
get a second?
Oh, second.
Second by Commissioner, who was that? Who motioned?
Rubalcaba.
Commissioner Noguera. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize for the interruption. I feel a little rude. I did not introduce my staff that is part of our SART team, so just very briefly, if you'll allow me, I'd like to introduce Angelica Martinez. She was brought on, stand up, Angelica, so I can see you if you don't know Angelica. She is our SART coordinator for Dimmit, Zavala, LaSalle, and Frio, and Maverick counties, and so she's the one that actually coordinates the SARTs for us. So we're glad to have her on board. It really helps our organization since we're spread so thin. And then we have Steve Flores, who's my programs coordinator and shelter manager, who is also part of our SART team. Thank you, and I apologize for the interruption.
3.3, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Constable 1, Precinct 1, Mr. Rudy Lopez for the month of November 2025.
Morning.
Good morning. Motion to approve.
Are there any questions?
Second.
If I have no questions, I have a motion by Commissioner Talamantes, and I have a second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.4, discussion and appropriate action approved for Constable 1, Rudy Lopez, to attend the continuing education for constables February 23rd through the 27th in Round Rock.
So moved.
Are there any questions? I have
So moved.
a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Constable.
Thank you.
3.5, discussion and appropriate action about the report from Constable Precinct 2, Mr. Andres Arambula. He has advised me that he does have a family emergency, so I'm going to table this item. And do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.6, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Constable 3, Mr. Robert Banderas and Juventino Torres for the month of November 2025.
Morning, Judge. Morning,
Morning.
Commissioner. Morning.
Motion to approve. Do I have any questions? If there are no questions, I have a motion by Commissioner Talamantes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.7, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Constable Precinct 3, Robert Valderas, to purchase one patrol unit truck from Commissioner Talamantes, Precinct 3, and Commissioner Urenda, Precinct 1, COs by board equipment, contract number 72423, emergency lights and equipment included, for a total price of $78,507.
is this truck gonna replace the two that you already have?
I only have, it's gonna replace one of them, which is the Silverado. But the Silverado that we have right now, I wanna utilize it as a spare between all the constables. I know that recently Connie's been using it and Rudy had to use it the other day when Manuel's truck went down, so.
So you're gonna keep it for
Yes,
the rest?
And then use it as a standby
a
truck.
standby truck for all the constables.
Motion to approve.
And you submitted an item, a Parkway Chevrolet for $78,507.
Yes,
But there's also another item from Parkway that
Yes.
has $29,300. Are those two separate?
It's gonna be, the truck is 48,000, the 29,000 is the equipment that's gonna be implemented into the truck.
But everything is from
Yeah.
Parkway?
Yes, ma'am.
Because on the first invoice, if you look at the first invoice, Judge, it has the 48,000 plus the 29, and then it also has the buy board fee, and that's the 78.
Any other questions? All right, entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Talamontes, second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.8, discussion and approval to purchase 2 ticket writers with equipment that includes 2 printers, licenses, 2 rugged handheld, 2 laptops, setups with equipment that include a 4-year package, refresh plan, new laptop every 4 years, laptop stand, docking station, power supply with warranty, all through Peacemaker Technology for $5,990. This is also an annual subscription, Constable Precinct 3.
I know we did talk about the annual subscriptions, and they did say like that it could be canceled, if, like before, but it's up to the elected to cancel it, basically, before. But considering that, I didn't approve for the others to get it, just on that stipulation, I'm gonna abstain from this one.
I know that there was some issues about, after the laptop is being taken away, that everything's gonna be completely wiped out. Yes, it will. And it would actually be done, I'm bringing your IT department as well, then they'll see that it's been completely cleared
Yes.
of any sensitive information.
Thank you for those clarifications, I really do appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are they canceling?
They're not, he's not canceling anything, he's asking for, so I'm looking at what it says, the terms and conditions, and it says, it's a 48-month agreement. This is a 48-month agreement, which translates into 4 years. So we're agreeing to be in this contract for 4 years, and then it's $5,990 every 4 years. It says $5,990 annual payments. So,
Every year? It's every year, Judge.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, every year, annual payments.
Constable? And Matt, on the 2 rugged handheld, what are the radios? It doesn't say if it's radios, right?
It's it's like I take it right here.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
It didn't say what.
So moved.
Sorry about
I have a motion by Commissioner Noguera,
Second.
second by Commissioner, second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? And we have 1 abstention, which was Commissioner Talamontes. Thank you, Constable.
Thank you.
3.9, discussion and appropriate action about the report from Constable Precinct 4, Mr. Manuel Rosas and Connie Estrada for the month of November 2025.
Good morning, Judge,
Good
Commissioners.
morning.
Morning.
I forgot to add on here, my truck gave out on November the 10th. So I just got it back Saturday, so.
Your new truck?
My new truck, yeah, my transmission.
We just purchased?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah, bad living. Yeah, they said it's common, but it will happen.
You're gonna be covered?
Yeah, warranty, they already covered it. Yes. Yeah, I
Oh, you
already
already
picked
got
it
it?
up. I picked it up Saturday. Yeah. And the charger has been in and out of the shop too, so it's been, I want to thank all the constables, precinct 1, precinct 2, precinct 3 for allowing me to use the units.
Make it sound like, what? Sorry.
Yeah, no. After I left Commissioner's Court last month here, it didn't want to go over 30 miles per hour, so I was like, oh, so it's unfortunate. Glad we got it back.
So moved.
I have a motion, you have a question?
Yes. Because the transmission blew. Or how long are they gonna warranty that transmission?
Well, what was that?
Like, because the transmission blew, like, how long are they gonna warranty that transmission? Because my thing is like, okay, like, it went out, but what if in like 3 years you're having issues with it again, and you kinda like didn't act quicker and you lost all that we invested into that truck?
Well, I would assume it's still under the powertrain coverage as long as we're still at the agreement, because I think it's,
So like, did the miles start over on the transmission,
10 years or-
or is it like the still from when you bought the vehicle?
it should be from when I bought the vehicle. But I could find out, I could get some answers.
Any other questions?
No.
I have a motion by Commissioner Noguera, second by Commissioner Odena, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Constable.
Thank you.
3.10, I'm gonna, motion to table this item. They are out in training. So I'm going to, call 3.11, also the discussion and appropriate action monthly report from FCH agent, Ms. Carissa Munoz, and a motion to table.
So moved.
And I have a second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Are you seconding on both of them, Commissioner? Are you
Yes.
second on both?
I'm all confused these days, sorry.
It's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.12, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Rodeo Arena Event Coordinator for the month of November 2025.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning. I have a question for you. So, to use the Alanis Field, for a nonprofit, how much are you charging?
For a nonprofit, it's a $100 deposit and a $150 rental fee. Or it's a $50 deposit and a $150 rental fee. That's what we established in Commissioners Court the last time it was here. And they just have to show proof that they are a nonprofit organization.
I did have somebody call me saying that they were being charged $300 plus to deposit. But we'll go back and we'll have the conversation and we'll clarify everything. I just wanted to make sure on our end, like, what did we agree on?
Yes.
Any other questions? If there are no other questions, I entertain a motion. I have a motion by Commissioner Talamantes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Noguera. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Sorry, Jack. In favor.
Motion carries, Mr. Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
3.13, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from the Dimmit County Golf Course for the month of November 2025.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ms. Hyman, on this report, do you give us on the report, like, it's each transaction, or is it like, is there a way for you to give us like the end of the day totals?
I have the end of the day summary, which is the total.
The totals? I mean, not end of the day, end of week, I'm sorry. But they've asked you to do end of day?
I do the end of day when I do my deposits.
Okay.
That goes directly over there.
There's different reports, Commissioner, the auditor's office.
Oh, that's what I was wondering, because I was like, if we could condense it for us here, we could just see like the weekly.
We used to have it like that, but there was a request that they wanted more detail.
Okay.
That's why I responded to Mr. Diana about how many peanuts are in Snickers. But I don't know if we can get any more detail at the moment or not.
No, it is very detailed, and that's why I was asking, like, I was wondering if you could condense it somewhere, but that's fine.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Noguera, second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hayes. 3.14, discussion and appropriate action, discussion and appropriate action to restrict the sale of fireworks.
Judge, this is system, with the Texas Forestry Service, just restricting certain fireworks. It's not to close up fireworks stands or
Yeah,
anything.
I think that the way that it was worded on the request makes it seem like to restrict the entire sale of fireworks. So I think it should have.
No, it states that they might not sell.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, when Ms. Hernandez got their agenda request,
Oh,
exactly, when she got the agenda request, she just typed it the way it was reflected on the request. So it just gives off the impression that we're restricting complete sale of fireworks, and that is not what we're doing. What you're asking this court to do is to prohibit certain fireworks.
that is
And
correct.
that is ordering prohibiting certain fireworks in an unincorporated area of Dimmit County, Texas, whereas the Texas Forest Service has determined that drought conditions exist in Dimmit County, and whereas on today's date, December the 8th, 2025, Commissioners Court will possibly determine that the normal danger of fire in the unincorporated areas of Dimmit County is greatly enhanced by extremely dry conditions now existing. Now therefore, the Commissioners Court adopts an order prohibiting the sale or use of restricted fireworks in unincorporated areas of Dimmit County. A person may not sell, detonate, ignite, or in any way use fireworks classified as skyrockets with sticks under 49 CFR Part 173.100 to 10-1-86 edition, or missiles with any fins in, I suppose I was supposed to say, any portion of the unincorporated areas of Dimmit County. This order does not prohibit permissible fireworks as authorized in Occupations Code 2154.003A. A person commits an offense if the person knowingly or intentionally violates a prohibition established by this order. An offense under this order is a Class C misdemeanor.
How are you going to, you're gonna restrict the sale, not the purchase?
Just say-
That is correct.
Okay, so then are we gonna have the code enforcer go and check the, or like how are we gonna enforce it?
We've done it every year, and it's being checked by the deputies and the code enforcer now. And I myself go and check, make sure they don't have bottle rockets and anything else. And also the state fire marshals come in a surprise check so they can make sure they're in compliance.
Any other questions? And so again, the motion, if you don't agree with it, you don't have to vote on it.
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, honestly, I just know that it gets done, and he's saying like it's every year, I know that we do experience a lot of fires, so I do think that it's needed, it's just, if we're gonna sign something or we're gonna vote on something, I wanna make sure that we can enforce these things, and it's just not a piece of paper that's sitting here in court. So that's why I wanted to make sure, like, how do we do it, because
I think it's like any other crime. I mean, we have the Texas Penal Code, and it says, I mean, it's just like any other crime. You try to work collaboratively, collectively to man these crimes, but I mean, you're not always going to catch everybody. But I mean, it's a Class C misdemeanor, which is a ticket.
yeah, because my whole thing is like, I just don't want to be signing something that's gonna enforce our officers or something like that to go to the purchasers to be like, well, we should be checking the sellers, because I
No, well, this particular order, it's only for the sale of, it's not for purchase. So if somebody comes from Uvalde or San
And brings
Antonio
it,
and
yeah.
brings it, it's according to this order, it's not a crime.
it's
So
not a
that,
crime.
unless it's not,
It
it's
is
not.
because you reported to the state fire marshals, and anytime that you.
I know, but this right here,
No, but
but this order, Commissioner,
crossing explosives.
I know, but
county
I'm
by
telling
county.
you that this order right here, because she's asking about
Oh,
the purchaser. This order right here, legally, it applies only to a person that's selling, not the purchaser. She's asking about the buyer.
but you can find.
Maybe on a different,
I think-
on the penal code, but let's say, for instance, of course, if the sheriff goes and sees that Joe Blow has a bottle rocket and they're not supposed to have it, through their investigative duties, they can ask and say, oh, I bought it from somebody in San Antonio, then they can call San Antonio to investigate. But this particular order, for purposes of you wanted to stick, legally, and I'm talking about on a legal aspect, this is only for a seller.
Judge, on letter A, it says you may not detonate, ignite, or in any way use.
I know, but it says a person and not sell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Judge, and this also, it also depends on after the citation is given, we can only enforce it, but it's up to the JP if he wants to collect it.
I agree.
And I think.
And that's what I'm saying,
and
it's
not
like-
saying, but I can burn man there,
What you usually do with citation?
500,
But, well, it could be up to $500,
yeah,
could be 100, it just depends,
and the
or
court,
community service.
but
And-
it's all up to the KPs.
Any other, yeah, it's kind of like any other crime. I mean, the sheriff's office, constable's office can put a crime together, and it's up to the district attorney if they want to bring it before a grand jury to indict or not. And then after you indict it, and they get convicted, it's up to the judge or the jury to decide how much time you want to give them. So, there's no way of us, like, really, like,
All we can do is try.
yes.
I just have one question. Probably because we'll be encountering somebody that's be approached in regards to this, they'll probably say, well, I didn't know about it. It's usually what they'll say. So are we going to, and I guess I'm asking Commissioner, you'll put it on the Facebook page probably.
He has in the
and
past.
Newspaper and all that good stuff.
He
Ms.
has.
McDaniel?
Ms. McDaniel, they put it in the Javelin
Okay.
before, and then I've seen Commissioner put it on his Facebook post.
Okay.
And we can put it. I have a motion by Commissioner Odena,
Second.
second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.15, discussion and appropriate action to amend the Dimmit County personnel policy to allow the 90-day probationary period for internal employees who have remained in continuous service with Dimmit County for a minimum period of a year of part-time employment.
Judge, on this one, it is I have a few part-time employees that have been with the county for part-time for more than 5 years. Each is 2 different employees. So technically, when I transitioned them from part-time employees to full-time employees, they were notified that they would still have to complete the 90-day probation, which on their end, they expressed that they already completed the 90-day completion because on the policy, it says that whether it's full-time or part-time, you still get the 90-day probation period. So right now, basically, it's coming into, or we're asking for clarification because I just transitioned 2 employees from part-time to full-time. They've been with the county for, I believe one of them is 12 years, the other one's about 8 years. And so in order for them to start getting their holiday pay coming up, like with the Christmas days and all this off, they wouldn't be eligible for it if they make them redo the 90-day probation. So basically, I'm asking for either clarification, if that is what I am reading is correct, or if we can bypass it for internal policies that have been with us for X amount of years, so they don't have to complete the 90-day policy.
So, Mr. Ortiz, so my distinct understanding in this particular case, from what Mr. Ortiz advised me, was that just like anybody else that is going to start full-time, they have to wait the probationary period of 90 days, regardless if they're coming from part-time or not, is what I was advised. And furthermore, in regards to insurance purposes, as I was advised by Mr. Pereira and Mr. Ortiz, was that that's not something that we can waive. So regardless of your request, the fact of the matter is that when it comes to insurance as well, they have to be on a 90-day probationary period.
But they already completed the 90-day probationary period because it says here in the policy that permanent employees, either full-time or part-time, are on a probationary period of 90 days beginning of the day of hire or rehire. So regardless, if you're saying they still have to complete the 90 days, technically, part-time, they completed the 90 days.
But it also says employees on probation status are not credited with and may not take paid sick leave or vacation leave.
Okay.
So they have to wait.
They have to wait 90 days. At least that's what I was advised by Mr. Ortiz.
The way I
After I spoke with you, Judge, I spoke with Commissioner, and I read it more carefully, and technically, if we want to get specific, it doesn't say that they have to restart the probation period. Like, that's just something that the county's always done. So that was something it could have been oversight on me or whenever I reintroduced this, or since I've been in office, but it's been restarting before I got here, and I kind of just thought that's how it was, and that's my fault that I just kind of assumed. But if we want to get really specific, technically it doesn't say it restarts.
Because they already completed the 90 days, because it was a part-time employment. So regardless, they already did the 90 days.
So then this entire time, this, as a matter of where Commissioner Talamantes is coming from and what you're saying, this is a very flawed policy then, because it's actually oxymoron if you think about it, because you're saying that whether they're part-time or full-time, as long as they've been here for 90 days, they've already completed their probationary period.
Employees that have been here.
Then why would it say employees on probation status are not credited?
Well, it does say that, you're absolutely correct, that's what I'm saying, it's oxymoron, it's contrary.
Yeah.
And obviously, on here it says employees on probation status are not credited with and may not take paid sick leave or vacation leave. But that, if you read it from the first sentence where it says permanent employees, either full-time or part-time, are on a probation period of 90 days beginning the date of their hire or rehire. So when they start, their 90 days already starts. So when you read that second sentence, Commissioner Rubalcaba, it says that during those 90 days, they cannot be credited with sick leave or vacation leave or anything like that
During the 90 days.
during the 90 days. And so, because they've been there for 5 years or 8 years or whatnot, your position is that they've already completed their, which I think is, in terms of being practical, doing that completely goes against what we've been doing for the past 100, whatever years we've been here, because I've been the county judge for 3 years, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Rubalcaba, we've always had to make them, regardless if they were part-time or full-time, they had to wait 90 days. This is, obviously, reading is fundamental, but that was based on the position of the treasurer and the auditor that never allowed anybody to take their time, as far as I'm concerned. And I see Ms. Mary nodding her head, but the truth of the matter is that for all this time, regardless if you were full-time or part-time, well, actually part-time never counted, but full-time, because I'm sure Commissioner Udenda's had part-timers that converted into full-time, and they had to wait their 90 days. And so now we're trying to change it, which is probably rightfully so, because that's what the language says.
Yeah.
But
Because I did contact.
Can I just interrupt? Part-times are not on probationary period. They never are. They are from one day to the next.
It says where they
Full-time,
are.
I understand what it says there, but there is no probationary period for part-time because they're here one day, and if you decide
Well, all
to
the
go on
employees are at.
I understand what it says, but that's not what the probationary period is, because they do not get anything at all. The only thing that is taken from them is retirement. Now, the full-time is the only one that starts probationary period, and that's the only one that applies to.
You gave this to them when they were hired.
But
And so
it
it
could be
does-
probationary period, but
But it
it
still counts.
doesn't mean
it
dilly
still
squat,
counts- it still
because there
counts
is
as a
nothing
black
that
and
they're
white.
on probation for. They don't get anything at the end of the 90 days.
It still says here in black and white, whether you're saying that it is or if it is not, regardless of the situation, it's still here in black and white in the policy that you give the employees when they're hired. And I did call and I did ask, and I know that I called Oscar's office, and the first answer was no, that it couldn't be, and then I told them back. I mean, we took out the policy, we read the policy, and from what we're reading is that permanent employees, either full-time or part-time, are on a 90-day probationary period for 90 days, beginning of the day of hire or rehire. We do have one of those employees that was rehired, so hire or rehired. Employees on probationary status are not to collect. That meant to me, when it says employees are prohibited in status and not credited with paid sick leave or vacation leave, that was during the 90-day probationary period. But regardless of point, it's still here in black and white in the policy that you give employees when they're hired, that they are on 90-day probation, whether they're full-time or they're part-time. So you could say something different, but regardless, it still says on the paper that you give them when they were the employee and they come into the treasurer's office and they sign all the papers and they sign a form to say that they got the policy and that they read and acknowledged the policy, or that they're gonna take it upon themselves to go get the policy. So regardless, you still told them permanent employees, either full-time or part-time, are on a 90-day probationary period.
Right, but at the end of the 90 days, for part-time, nothing happens. In full-time, it does, because they go off the probationary period and they get the insurance and they get all the paid holidays. So probationary period for part-time doesn't mean diddly squat. And full-time, that's where they made change, and that's why they ask you to make sure that at the end of the 90 days, or anybody is full-time, whether they were continued employment or not.
Well, on their end, I'm telling you, on the black and white, it does say that. If you're asking me what I read when I read it, it said full-time or part-time or in the 90-day probationary period. You can say that it's not. Even if they don't get anything at the end of the 90 days, you're still stating here in the county policy that either full-time or part-time, that they have a 90-day probationary period. And for us, on the 90-day probationary period, even if it's part-time or it's full-time, your uniforms don't get ordered after 90 days. Like, there's other things, whether you're part-time or you're full-time, that we use the 90-day probationary period for. And that from employees are prohibited status and not credited with, that to me meant while you were on the 90-day probationary period. Like, you couldn't take sick leave and you couldn't take vacation days. But now it kind of stands a question that you're saying here, you're saying that can no part-time employee take sick leave? Do they not get sick leave if they're part-time?
No, they cannot. They cannot take sick leave, or they cannot take vacation. It's a probationary period. But if you continue to read, and that's what I'm telling you, that this policy is off, Commissioner, but if you continue to read in the second paragraph, it says, each employee appointed to a regular position shall be required to complete successfully the probation period of 3 months. So then if you read that, that tells you, if you put somebody from part-time to regular position, they have to successfully complete probation of 3 months. So then that goes back to opposite of what you're just reading at the top.
I mean, because from what I've learned here, sitting in Commissioner's Court from you guys, and I'm not an attorney by all means, and I know that it takes years of studying and schoolship. But from what I take from it is that the law always sways both ways. You can make it go this way, you can make it go that way. It just depends on how you put it and how you word it.
That's why I just made the comment that this particular policy is oxymoron, which means that it's contradicting itself, because it's saying one thing and then it's also saying another thing, and the way it's been applied, it's always been applied to where if you're as far as I'm here, and I'm aside from Commissioner Rubalcaba, Commissioner Carmona, as long as I've been here, if you're going to be a full-timer or transition to a full-timer, all our employees have always had to wait 90 days. They've always had to wait 90 days, and that's what they've been told by the auditor's office, that's what they've been told by HR. And you have to stand on that, Mr. Ortiz, because you know that anybody that's ever been part-time to full-time, they had to wait the 90 days.
Right, no, I agree with that, but now that I reread that last sentence of the second paragraph, now I feel like, well, the way I kind of read it now, the first paragraph applies to when someone completely starts new, and I feel like the second paragraph applies
It applies to when they've been here.
when they transition.
Exactly.
I'm going to disagree with you on that, because if you read the first sentence of the second paragraph, what is a probationary period for?
Utilize for observing the employee's work for effective adjustment.
So
of
the
employee's
individual has
position.
already worked for you and you're promoting him or you're training him to full-time, you've obviously already realized that based on what the second paragraph says. But there's...
I see that argument.
I understand the...
Well, that probationary period is saying what, it defines what the probationary period is. What you're talking about, Commissioner Urena, is it's defining what the probationary period is for, which is to look at what they're doing, their job.
Right.
But then you go down to that second sentence that I'm telling you about, and it says, each employee appointed to a regular position shall be required to complete successfully the probation period of 3 months. So that's saying that if if you read it, and obviously it's all a matter of how you advocate for it, interpret it, that says that if you're going into a regular position now, which is a full-time, you have to complete a period of 3 months.
It's all the way you interpret it, because we all understand these things are put together so they can give us a guidance of how to move.
And that's exactly what a policy is
The problem
that it's a
We've
guidance.
been consistent on how we've been doing things.
Correct.
And at this point, we may or may not run into a pickle if we make a change, because sure, most than likely, somebody's gonna raise their hand and say, how come I didn't get the same privilege? So it's all the way you interpret it.
And honestly, just to go back on that, Commissioner, and I don't have any proof or I don't have anything, but for some reason I did take the question, the answer that the treasurer's office first gave me to say no. To them, again, you're dealing with people that have been here 12 years and 8 years. This isn't something that these employees have been here only for a year. They've been here, one of them probably more than 12 years, but had to leave and then ended up coming back. The other one has been continuous for 8 years, but in their head, they say that they've been here and other people have gotten this period bypassed. And that's why I said that I would bring it to court to ask, because on our end, I said on my end, I haven't heard of it, I haven't seen it. I did ask the treasurer's office as well. The treasurer said since I've been here, that has never happened. But as I'm telling you, just from what he's saying, it's already happening. And I'm not sitting up here saying that you have done it, you have done it, you have done it, or that's what's happened. I'm just saying that that's already what I'm being met with like, well, this has already happened. Why can't it happen now?
At least in the 3 years that I've been here, I've never seen that somebody was able to bypass.
And
that they got a bypass.
I even asked Oscar
Even my
himself.
even my employee that went for part-time and full-time, he waited.
Had to wait it,
Yeah.
had to
See,
wait.
because I did ask Oscar himself. I said, hey, has it? And he flat out told me, no, it has never
I mean,
been
and Oscar
done.
and I came in at the same time, and I know
So,
that it hasn't been
I'm not
done.
accusing this board right now of saying that that has happened. I'm just trying to put into a connection that it's already a process that has already been started. Because it's like, well, if they did it, why can't I do it? But I don't have any proof, and I'm not going to sit here and go deeper into it. I'm just saying we're already at that point with this policy.
And also, if you keep reading down where it says temporary and part-time employees, it tells you right there, temporary and part-time employees will not earn annual leave or vacation or sick leave. No temporary, you keep reading. So I think that also justifies further about that last sentence on paragraph 2, is that while they're, and I guess what Mr. Pereira was saying, that when they're part-time employees, they don't get anything other than they take out a little bit of their retirement, but other than that, you do not accrue any type of annual leaves, vacation, you don't accrue anything. And so that's why I think that policy is the way that it is, so that when you are transitioning to a regular full-time position, you have to have the 3 months because you didn't have those benefits before. I suppose that's Mr. Pereira's position as well, as why he said what he said.
Not even a raise.
You can't. And I think at the end of the day, it'll be my recommendation to this court that if you guys want to keep it the same as the way it's always been applied in practice, I would highly suggest for us to amend the language where it says permanent employees and to take off the word either, full-time or part-time, and it just says permanent employees, comma, or full-time employees are on a probationary period, and completely take off part-time, because that's where the nuance comes into play, where you have different language.
I mean, honestly, on their point, like I said, this isn't something that I initially brought straight to Commissioner's Court. It's something that we ended up here. I mean, these employees on themselves, I have a responsibility to them as their lead to come up and ask the questions for them. But even if the court decides not to, it's still a policy that they received. And I guess on their end, they could come up and address the court themselves.
Well, not necessarily. They would just have to, if they feel like that they were not getting paid, then they can follow legal action. Because there's nothing that we can do. We can't, I
Because I'm
mean,
telling you, I've already gone
I mean,
through the
because I
process.
think, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that your employees are already telling you, like, well, it was done before, like, it's not fair, why, yada, yada. I understand what your employees are telling you, but with that same token, then we're also gonna have employees that we made them be on probation, saying, well, y'all made me be on probation for 90 days, why did they get, why not them? And now it's public, because according to what you said, one of your employees told you it was done in the past. And if it was done in the past, it was done either in a manner that was very discreet, because here everybody finds out everything. Everybody knows everything. And now that it's public, I mean, I think we would have known if somebody got it waived. I think that elected or that department head, somebody would have said like, hey, they were able to get it waived. So if it was done in the past, and when I say past, obviously before my time and Oscar's time, because Oscar's telling you that he's never done it. If it was done in the past, it must have been done very discreetly where nobody knew, because like I said, as far as that comment, your employee saying that it's been done before, I've never seen it done during my time.
And
So-
that's why I'm here, because when it was told to me, like, hey, it has been, I felt like on my end, like, if I was being dishonest to my own employees. And that's why I said, the only thing that I can do is put it on Commissioner's Court and go ask again. But on my end, from what I was telling them, and I would think, like, for the other employees that say, like, well, why now, why this? Well, honestly, on my end, I hate to sound unsympathetic, because I mean, if you're with the county for X amount of years, I do strongly feel that you shouldn't have to go to the 90-day probationary period, because you already proved your loyalty, your commitment to the county. So I don't see that, but honestly, on my end, like for their employees that are saying, hey, well, why now, why did this happen? Well, on our end, it's not really my office or my employee's fault that nobody picked up the policy and started reading it, and we did.
All I can say, commissioners, is that we can amend the policy, like I said, to take off part-time on the probation period and it be full-time like the way it's always been. Or you leave it as is and you have to give, it's gonna be a matter, I guess, I mean, we're, at this point, it'll be a matter of whether Mr. Ortiz wants to do it, but you're gonna, going back to what you said, Commissioner Urenda, you're gonna have people angry saying, well, why did I have to wait 9 days? And
Can I make a comment?
you may.
I think you're also gonna run into the problem of those same employees that transitioned from part-time to full-time that missed out on all that holiday pay because they were on probation. They can easily then come back and say, well, I want my pay.
And that's, thank you, Ms. Manuel. And that's you're welcome. And that's exactly what I'm saying. This is something that we need to tread very lightly, commissioners, because we may all, as representatives of this county, of this court, run into some legal ramifications in regards to people asking for them to get paid for the services that they provided for this county as employees that we did not give them and we did not pay them. So if you have employees that went from being part-timers to full-timers and we didn't pay them those, and they had to take days off or whatever, and they didn't get paid for it because they were on the 90-day period, they can come back and request, obviously there is a statute of limitations. Legally, by law, there is a statute of limitations. However, if some of those are within that statute of limitations, they can seek legal counsel to come and request for them to get paid, or there may be a lawsuit. So this is something that needs to be treaded very, very lightly. And I think as the officer of this court, I would strongly suggest that the practice remain the same, in which the people have gotten the 90 days and you guys decide to just take off the language and word it in a way that it's applicable to the way it's always been. Because, you know, you're gonna have people from both sides of the spectrum that, I mean, obviously Commissioner Talamantes has her employee that made his comments or his statements or his opinion of, you know, it's been done before, so it should be allowed now, which I understand rightfully so, that's how he feels, or he knows of somebody that was able to do that. But now, when you put it before the court for a decision, it's completely different now, because I don't know of anybody that it was waived for. So unless we have ascertainable evidence that it was waived, then
I mean, I would think you would have to go back and look, because even like Ms. Sandoval said, and you're absolutely right, because when I informed them that they weren't gonna get it, this was before Thanksgiving. And the first comment was, well, then we should get our Thanksgiving paid back to us whenever it does go through, if it does go through, because we were still full-time employees during that time period. And so like, yeah, you're absolutely right, like it's gonna happen, but I mean, I've been one up here to say, the policy, a million and one times, because I know that there was a lot that wasn't correct in here. And honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I didn't even look for this. This was brought to me. Like, this was brought to me because I already given them the answer the first time, which was, no, you have to wait the 90 days. So on my end, I don't want y'all guys to feel like this is me. Yes, I'm up here with their voice, and I'm gonna try to swing for them as my employees. But I don't want for y'all guys to sit here and think that I'm gonna come against the court. This is gonna be up to them whether they decide to or they're not, because this is what they're bringing me and they're addressing to me. Because it was already said, well, we should get our Thanksgiving back too. And I do know that it's gonna open up a floodgate, but at the end of the day, the policy is important.
Yeah, well, even then, the same employees working for Mr. Ortiz work for the previous treasurer, and every time we turn everything into them, it's the same employees following the same policy. So I've been here 30 years and I've never had any or heard of anybody going under the radar and getting bypassed.
Yeah, my employees said the same thing. They don't know of they don't recall anybody bypassing. They know there was a period where Commissioner's Court changed the probation from 6 months to 3 months. So maybe that's what they're referring to, that they see it as a benefit that they didn't have to wait the full 6 months anymore.
I don't want to get like dig too deep into it, because like I told you, I don't have any proof, and it's not even worth the argument to say it, but there are certain connections of why they're saying a certain individual did it. But again, hey, I wasn't here 4 years ago to try to prosecute or crucify it for the decisions that were made outside of this board. All I said that I could do was ask, and again, to the policy of what it reads and what it says, and I know that even, Mr. Ortiz is at a bypass with it, because it says one thing and it doesn't, and the judge is the same thing, you're at an impasse with it, it says something, then it doesn't say anything. I would just think that for sure we need to look at this policy, like.
Well, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, Commissioner, if your employee has proof and evidence that somebody back in the day did it discreetly and they were able to waive it, that's where their legal system's gonna come out. And when, I can't decide obviously for all of you guys, but let's just say in theory that we keep it the way it's always been for 30 years or whatever, that you have to have a probationary period, and your employees don't like it, they have every right to go seek legal counsel. And if they want to pursue a matter with the county for not getting paid for this past Thanksgiving, then at that point they'll have to advise their attorney, like, hey, so-and-so back in the day got it waived under the table, and none of us else got to. Because, I mean, obviously that's the comment or statement. I mean, I know that you don't want to throw it out there or throw names out there.
I believe they got the right to go to grievance before it takes to any legal counsel.
Well, I mean, they can file a grievance, but they don't necessarily have to.
But that's what I mean, but then the grievance committee doesn't meet then.
No, but the grievance committee is not for that, Commissioner. Grievance committee.
Well, I thought it was
that's for elected officials, sir. It's on the government code. The grievance committee is for elected officials that do not agree with their pay when we do the pay. That's what the grievance committee is. The grievance committee is not for employees. Employees is completely HR. No, you can file agreements with the Commissioner's Court on anything. Which was filed here before. But no, I mean, if somebody doesn't get paid for their services, and that happened to us, 2 years ago, remember that one individual that left from the law enforcement department? He was going straight to an attorney. I don't wanna mention no names, but you know what I'm talking about.
I was like, oh, this, we don't need to.
No, we're not, but,
No, I didn't know.
no, I can get it for you, Commissioner. So the grievance committee that we have every year, that's for the elected officials. Grievance committee is for elected officials for their pay or lack of benefits or whatnot. That's on the government code. But for employees themselves, any employee can go and hire an attorney for hostile impact, for whatever they think that there is.
Right.
They go and give a notice to the judge's office, and HR is how it goes. But I think, going back to what you said, Commissioner Talamantes, is that it seems to me like your employee has not just hearsay, maybe evidence of somebody actually bypassing it. And if that's the case, then, you know, they can take whatever proper procedures or actions that they need to take care of it. But at this juncture right now, we either have to decide if we keep it the way it was for the past, and I'm saying 30 years because that's what Ms. Murray just said, she's been here for 30 years, but either keep it the way it's always been, where you have to have a 90-day period when you're transitioning to a full-time employee, or we change it.
Because my question is too, and I know that the court is saying that basically it has always been done like this, and it has always been like done like this. I think on my end, I would like to know from the commissioners, and others are saying, just because it's always been like this, do you honestly feel like if an employee has been here 12, 8, 10, maybe even a minimum of like 5 years, you really do think that they should start the probationary period again when the period is used to evaluate their work performance and to make sure that they're gonna stay?
My question is, if that employee those employees that you have, that you said have been here 12 years on part-time and 8 years on part-time, did they not choose to be full-time employees? If they didn't, because they've been part-time, because I don't know the reason why that's the way they wanted to be, or there was no room for being a full-time employee. That's just something that happened and they've been there. 'Cause I know I've had several employees that have been there part-time for 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, so, I guess I could kind of answer that a little bit. One of them, that was all that was available, and the other one, it was a choice when they came back to stay on and be part-time. So
the other one that was available, is there now a new position for that person that's not part-time?
I transitioned it, so I moved them both from part-time to full-time. One of them, because the position opened up and I was able to utilize that person to be able to, there was work basically for that individual. So I moved that individual up. And then the other one was a choice to be part-time, if I'm being honest with you. And then they cleared up some stuff on their end, so they were legally able to move up to full-time. So they had restrictions that didn't allow them to work a full-time position. But then they were marked away from those restrictions, and now they're able to give a clean bill of health to work a full-time position. But the person with the medical was about 12 years employed with us, and the other one was about 8 years employed with us. That's what I'm saying, like, on our end, like, I know
So
what you're
then
saying.
the one from part-time that there just wasn't no position, now there's a position doing what they were doing before, or it's something different?
Plus more. So that was my question to you guys. Like, I know that it's always been done like this, because what you can do too is you can rewrite the policy. That doesn't say that it has to stay the way that it was. You could also rewrite the policy to say something else, and then at that point, it would cover us, because it would be like, well, we just redid the policy because it was just brought to our attention that there was a flaw in it, and this is what it is now. Because that happens too with laws and stuff.
Yeah, but if we do that, Commissioner, it's not retroactive, so your employees are still under probation. So if we rewrite the language of that, it's not retroactive. So these employees you're talking about, they still have to wait 90 days, a 90-day period.
So it would just be for any new employee coming in, and then that would fall into their.
Correct. So it still goes against to what your employees are, because from my distinct understanding, what I'm gathering here from what you're advocating for them for, is that they want their vacation and within these next 90 days, which is Thanksgiving, Veterans Day, Christmas, New Year's, they want all those to be paid. So what I'm saying is that if you're gonna make the argument for us to change it, it doesn't go retroactive. And when you put them on probation, it's gonna be retroactive, so they still don't get their pay So they're still not gonna get their pay, they're still gonna be upset, and they're still gonna say that's not fair because somebody else did it before.
I think that, like, on this point too, I'm not trying, yes, I do have a duty to my employees, but what I'm trying to do is really trying to communicate so that we can fix it for the next time to come, because I thought that the policy was either updated or changed every year. And I thought that that's when the employees got, like, new forms to say, hey, okay, this is the policy, or this is this, and then it would come into effect then. So even if my employees would miss the Christmas and everything else coming up after January 1st, it would be a new policy that came into play. I thought that's how it's worked at other employments when I've had every year, like when we passed the first year and, you know, everything went smoothly or whatever, and then they would redo whatever they did, and then they would give us, hey, these are the changes that were made, and then they would give us another acknowledgement form to say that we received a second policy from them, and then that policy would come into forte for that remaining of that year. But I know, again, I know that for them, what I'm up here doing, but I'm just saying, in the future, like, are we really gonna sit here and say, like, okay, like, even if you've been with the county for this long, and I'm only one vote for what I think of my opinion, but I would be curious to see what the other commissioners hear about it, regardless of these two employees or not, like, how do we fix the policy and what it says?
I mean, I think, like I said, going back to what I initially said a while ago, the only way to fix it is change the language of taking off part-time or clarifying it, because
I just don't think it's fair, Judge. I honestly, like, and I know that.
Well, I know you're saying, I know you're.
But not just for my employees, like for anybody. Like if you had an employee that was, let's just say.
No, I understand what you're saying, that it's not,
working for you.
I understand what you're saying, it's not fair, but my distinct understanding and the way I've always seen it, and obviously this is being brought to light now, but the way that, and I'm not putting the blame on Mr. Ortiz or putting the blame on Mr. Pereira, but I would like to say that for the most part, when I send somebody that we're hiring, whether it's part-time or full-time, when I'm hiring somebody and I send them to Mr. Ortiz's office or Mr. Pereira to get their paperwork, that whatever information they're advising them on is what's gonna go. And the way I've always been advised is that you have to wait 90 days. And so, like I said, I'm not trying to turn it around on anybody, but I'm taking Mr. Ortiz's word and Mr. Pereira's word that it's 90 days. What you're saying, that it's not fair, I understand what you're saying. Because if you read it from here, like I said, the first paragraph goes to your argument, but the second paragraph goes to, regardless if they're going to a regular position, they are required to complete successfully the probation period of 3 months. So you have two different positions within one paragraph of policy, one section of this policy. So I understand what you're saying about wanting to be fair. Of course, I mean, I used to get laughed at all the time because I used to say about being fair, being fair. I understand that. I'm all for wanting to be fair. But with that same token, to me, fairness was, we have to wait 90 days because that's the way I was always told, is 90 days. And I believe that's the way the other commissioners were advised too. Now, obviously, you have brought this question to the table and your employees are concerned about it. And you're advocating for them, and this is now a new can of worms, if you will, that we have to address. And so here, it's a decision that this court's gonna have to make. Whichever way anybody votes, we have to decide today, right now, or we can table it to get the proper terminology. But it has to be done today because there's two different, and obviously Oscar, Mr. Ortiz just advised me that when he spoke to me the first time, you told me, no, they can't do that, they have to wait 90 days, yada yada. But then he also mentioned right now that after he spoke to me, he spoke to you, and then he's saying now that now his position is different, correct?
Yes, and now with today's discussion, I have a different, I'm back to my first
original position that
because whenever I spoke with you, Commissioner, I was mainly focusing on that first paragraph, but now today, I'm looking more carefully at that second paragraph, and I feel like that last sentence applies to the transition employees. Like, I feel like the first paragraph applies whenever they're hired, and then that second paragraph applies if they change status while they're still employed.
I understand what you mean.
Because the more and more I read it, honestly, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry that I'm being a lawyer right now, but the more and more that I read it, the more and more it says, really, permanent employees, either full-time or part-time, have a probation period of 90 days. To me, that means, even if you're a part-timer, you're still on probation, that you can get fired at any which moment within 90 days. If you can read it like that too. If you read it, and then the reason why it says that, now that more and more I read it, on a legal aspect, it tells you full-time and part-time are both on probation period for 90 days, regardless. You're gonna be on probation for 90 days. Then you go down to the second paragraph and it says the probation period shall be utilized, and that's what that tells you, what the probation period is gonna be utilized. So Commissioner Carmona hires a part-timer, that part-timer has a 90-day probation period too, that Commissioner Carmona can fire them if he doesn't like their work effectiveness, their efficiency, whatever it is. That's the second part. Then your third sentence on there, each employee appointed to a regular position. So if you are determined to be a regular full-time employee, you have to successfully complete required 3 months of probation. That's what that means. Then you go down to the next one, and then it tells you there too, vacation and sick leave will be accrued but not credited until the dates stated in Section 2, Employee Benefits. So this is cross-reference. Now you gotta go to Section 2 of Employee Benefits to read what that tells you. And that probably tells you that part-time don't have that whole 90-day thing. So this whole thing, you needed to cross-reference when you read it, because the more and more that I'm reading it, the more and more it tells me that only regular positions will have to require the probation period of 3 months to get those fringe benefits of vacation and sick leave based on that third sentence on the first paragraph. And what would be good is if we would have had Section 2 of employee benefits to cross-reference, but I don't have that and I don't know the policy by memory.
Right.
I can pull it up on the website.
But then again, that's cross-referencing vacation and sick, and that's not what we're talking about right now, or holidays, but I agree. I see.
Because if you go down again in bold, it says temporary and part-time employees will not earn annual leave or vacation or sick leave. No temporary employee may be hired to replace persons on vacation leave except in departments that have only one employee with the approval of Commissioners Court or with prior approval by Commissioners Court for good cause shown.
Because honestly, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that we're in a bigger predicament.
And then it also says on the last one, E, no department head is to hire temporary help to replace the cross-reference of where it says in the top, Section 2, employee benefits.
Section 2,
Mhm.
vacation, sick leave, holiday, jury duty leave, military leave, funeral leave, paid quarantine leave, medical insurance, workman's compensation, retirement, social security, and family medical leave. Which one?
I don't know, Commissioner, I'm just telling you what it says right here. Vacation and sick leave will not be accrued, but not credited until date stated in Section 2, employee benefits.
This is the policy online. So the other one that you're saying, that's what it says.
This is Section 1.
What's the one you're looking for?
But also, we're discussing holiday, not vacation and sick.
Because then on that too, then it doesn't say that
I
part-time
understand
employees
Mr.
are
Ortiz right
subject
there.
to
Mr. Ortiz, but that's what her position is. Her position is that her employees are concerned and are upset, I guess, if you will. I don't know, I didn't talk to them, but because they want to get paid the holidays, which is what you're talking about. Which is what you're saying we're not talking about, but that's what they're asking.
Yes, that's.
No, yeah. I'm just saying that if we go.
Because-
like I'm
I see
trying
what
to-
you're saying,
I'm trying to
because
avoid
on
the
here-
rabbit hole of talking about vacation and
Because
sick.
on here,
That's not the purpose.
this policy is regarding vacation and sick. It's nothing to do with holiday pay. And that's what they're asking for, is for them to get paid holiday pay.
But
But
historically, holiday pay falls basically as the same as the percentage.
correct, and we don't pay those.
Qualify for that, you need the criteria.
Okay, so let me just tell you, Commissioner, to go back to answer your question where you can answer it. It says, cross-reference Section 2, employee benefits, eligibility. All full-time regular employees shall begin to accrue vacation benefits after the 3-month probation period. Part-time and temporary employees shall not be eligible for these benefits. So that goes to answer your question. They can't get it. Because they have to go to full-time. It has to be full-time regular. So if you transition these 2 employees from part-time to full-time, now they're full-time employees and they shall begin to accrue vacation benefits after the 3-month probation period. And then it says part-time and temporary employees shall not be eligible for vacation benefits.
So that, and then see, that's where we're getting the hiccup, because that's what that says, but they already completed the 3 months, because they did it when they were part-time.
I know, but that's not what,
Because, so there's nothing even saying there that there's, that
No,
part-time
because-
employees are subjected to 2.
because they're not considered, full-time. Only full-time, it says right here, that the vacation and sleep, the benefits are only for, credited until dates dated in Section 2, which is employee benefits, a cross-reference. And this section right here, says the only people that are eligible for it is full-time employees. That's what this Section 2 is saying. The people that are eligible for these benefits are full-time employees. So your part-time employees never get any benefits.
Yes.
They're not getting, so I understand that they've been there for 5 years, 8 years, but even though they've been there 5 to 8 years, and I think where you're getting hung up on is where it says either full-time or part-time.
Because that clearly states that they already completed the 90 days.
But that's what I'm saying,
It doesn't specify in the policy when they have to complete the 90 days, or if they have to redo the 90 days. That's what I'm saying, as I understand on your end, where you're saying like that, yes, Section 2
It does say on there, it says
Yes.
if you're a full-time, you have to complete 90 days. So if you put somebody as a full-time, they have to complete 90 days, and that's what you did.
But they did complete the 90 days, and see,
No,
that's
they
where the
did
argument is
not.
coming from, yes, because
But
when
the
they're a
last
part-time
The
employee,
last sentence says, fringe benefits will be given to full-time employees after probation period is
That's
completed.
what I'm saying.
okay, but the question still remains, did these employees, whether part-time or full-time, did they complete a 90-day probationary period?
No, they did not, based on the policy that we have.
It says full-time or part-time
The
employees
the answer
are.
would have to be no, Commissioner, to that one. I'll tell you why, because if the answer would be yes, then that means everyone else that has been a part-time and transferred into a full-time
Would be getting
will
benefits
as
right
well
now.
have completed, and that's why I'm saying, I understand, I completely understand your point, and trust me, I feel like maybe there is something we can change, not fix. But then, going back to what you were saying, we've been doing this for a long time, well, seems to have kept us out of trouble for the most part, so I would lean on doing things that would keep us out of trouble, but this is no different than anybody interpreting a different way, but
Yeah.
at the beginning, it does say full-time or part-time, that probably needs to be.
See, and that's the argument to say that it's not necessarily you're saying, because I understand where y'all guys are coming from and saying they have to redo the 90-day probationary period, but there's nothing like that in the policy. And you're saying that they have to complete the 90-day probationary period before they get those things. They already completed it on their part-time employment. Because when they were on part-time, they were still on a 90-day probationary period.
Commissioner, let me make something very clear real quick. 1.07 is solely just talking about probation period. So that means that this section is talking about probation only, which means that it's talking about either full-time or part-time have to be on probation. That's what this is talking about. Now you cross-reference, now,
Why would a,
because you're not talking, going back to what Oscar's saying,
would a part-time be on probation if they're at will? If it's
Well,
4 days,
everybody's at.
everybody's at will.
okay.
Everybody's at will. So that, I know that you're agreeing with me because I got what your sentiments were when he said about cross-reference. The reason why they're cross-referencing employment benefits, Commissioner, is because this item right here is solely talking about probation period. It's not talking about benefits, it's not talking about fringe, what Oscar said, it's not talking about vacation, it's not talking about leave. It's just talking about the probation periods. You cross-reference this over to your benefits, and your benefits tell you what you get once you have this probation period.
So, and I know the others are getting far into benefits and paid leave None of that is my question.
No, but it is.
Hold
a
on,
question.
but,
Because you want paid holiday.
yes, hold on.
So
Paid
it is a
holiday, hold on.
benefit.
Hold on.
Benefit, excuse me.
My main concern is, did these employees not complete the 90 days already? If the policy is telling them that they already completed, because I know that you're saying that.
I'll answer it for you,
full-time,
look, I'll answer it for you like this,
but
Commissioner.
did
Yes,
they-
they did. Let me answer your question.
It's a part-
Yes, they did complete their 90-day probation period as a part-timer. But in order for them to accrue and be able to be eligible for paid holidays, paid vacation, paid sick, they have to complete another 90 days as a full-timer.
But that's not in here.
Yes, it is,
Due
Commissioner.
to that,
Yes, it is.
I would say it says in that second paragraph, the
Yes.
the last sentence.
Yes, it is.
Because Commissioner, you basically described that sentence. You said that an opening came up, so you transitioned them from
Mhm.
where they were at to this new position, which is exactly what this says. Each employee appointed to a regular position shall be required to complete successfully the probation period of 3 months.
But that is still saying like if they're appointed, if they're hired into a regular position, because again, and going back, and I really do not want to, and so please, everybody don't get all bent out of shape. I'm just trying to explain it so that way y'all guys can explain where I'm coming from. In my office and in my department, every worker said that they got hired on as part-time. All the time, it was part-time. That was their probationary period. After they completed the part-time 90 days, that's when they would get transitioned into full-time employment. And that's how it was done in my department and my thing. Everybody part-time, after you're done 3 months and you prove that you can stay, then you get into full-time. And I'm pretty sure that if you go and look at the records, it would show, as I said, I don't want to get into it.
No, I know what I'm
don't want to
saying,
get into it.
that's impossible. Maybe the way it was told to them, because there's not 13 part-time positions there, Commissioner. They were 13 full-times.
Yes.
So the way that the previous commissioner might have told them, saying, hey, you're like kind of part-time right now, because you have to be 3 months on a probation period.
Judge, not everybody is hired at the same time, and that's what I'm telling you. He always kept part-time positions available. So that way he can, it's like a revolving door. It's not to sit here and say that he hired every single person on the same day and everyone went into part-time. No, that's not what it was. I'm saying that he always had part-time positions available. When you came in, you asked for employment. You got one of the part-time positions. After 3 months, you survived the 3 months and you completed the 90 days. Then from then, you would move into the full-time position. And that's how it was done in my department, in my office. So I'm not sitting here and saying everybody was on part-time and nobody was on full-time. That's not what I'm
So
saying.
that
I'm
means
just
that
saying
every
that.
time he had to come and do a payroll notice with Mr. Ortiz to
Yeah.
change him from
And that's why
part-time.
I'm saying there should be
So then
some
Mr. Ortiz would have,
paperwork.
yeah, so then Mr. Ortiz would have known that they would have to start their 90 days again.
And I think, like, honestly, on my end, because I don't want to argue about this and I don't want to sit up here and make this into a bigger thing than it is. The last thing I'm gonna do is sit up here and argue about things that, I mean, we can go back and forth. You went one way, we went the other way, it's just gonna keep going. My thing is that we need to fix the policy and we really need to take a closer look at it because I have been saying it and I have tried to change a few things in the policy. And nobody is taking it very, very seriously because at the end of the day, we run into more problems going by hearsay. And nobody picks up a piece of paper because look, from the food bank, it was all hearsay. It was this, and this, and this. And at the end of the day, you're human, I'm human, you're human, you're human, you're human. Somebody could have informed one of us along the way with something that we would have thought was correct and it just stuck. And because the person that was telling us, we thought maybe they should know and we just took it for it and ran with it. But at the end of the day, we're starting to learn that that's not the case. So when we're making decisions or we're making things, I do feel very, very strongly that we need to start looking for the paper trail. It can't just be like, oh, because it was done like this for so many years and it's been done like this, because what happened up here, we went back and forth and had a discussion for about 20 minutes and we went back and forth on our own policy. Something that we should comprehend and already should know. Back and forth on our own policy. So at the end of the day, I can respect, if you're saying, hey, they need to do the 90 days, they need to do the 90 days, and everybody's saying do it again because that's how it's always been done and that's how y'all feel about it, then that's fine. Y'all guys can vote on it and say, hey, reword the policy to say either you're part-time or full-time, or you go into full-time, then you need to do the 90 days again. But it needs to say that in there because clearly it doesn't say it in there.
Do I have anybody that wants to motion to take off the word part-time on that probation period of 90 days?
Judge, I don't think we can because that's not what the request was.
The request was to amend the policy. In whichever way, form, or fashion, that's enough notice. It's to amend the policy. That's enough notice.
Sounds good, I just wanna make sure I was doing it correct.
No, you put it on correctly, because whether it was gonna go towards your position or somebody else's position, there's enough notice there to say that you're asking for the policy to be amended.
Okay.
Okay, just explain that one more time. I'm sorry.
So, the policy needs to reflect, because Commissioner Talamantes, when she reads it, which she can read it and interpret it that way, and rightfully so, that's her opinion of how she reads it. It says, permanent employees, either full-time or part-time, are on a probation period for 90 days. So she's saying that because they've already been on probation for 90 days as a part-timer, when they become full-time, they don't have to do the 90 days like everybody else has done. So in order for us to keep it the way...
Redo the 90 days.
Exactly, redo the 90 days. So in order for us to keep it the way that we've been doing it here for at least 30 years, we need to take off the part-time part, because if we can keep it the way that it is. We don't have to change anything. Keep it the way it is and keep putting it in practice the way Mr. Pereira and Mr. Ortiz have been doing it in practice, which means if you're a full-timer, you have to do 90 days before you can get your benefits, and we leave it as is, and then it'll be upon her employees to go and seek whatever other alternatives or actions that they feel they need to take to rectify it so that they can get paid their holidays, or we can amend the policy and take off the part-time so that it takes away any kind of confusion for anybody being hired from this day forward, that if you're a part-time and you did 90 days, you're good to go, and if you become a full-timer, you don't have to do it.
Judge, I'm gonna go ahead and motion to table just because I feel like this is a decision that we should really look into and fix it with more better time.
Judge, but, I don't think.
Because I don't think removing one word
I
is
don't
gonna
think
fix.
moving the part-time, because right now when I asked, you said that because of middle work ran.
No, you're right, that's why,
Okay,
I think
simple.
that's what I'm saying. I think that the reason why it was done like this, Commissioner, was for that purpose.
Okay.
Because Middle Rio Grande will call you, right, Mr. Ortiz, if somebody gets fired or quits, and they'll ask you, yes, they'll ask Mr. Ortiz, what was their reasoning or whatever, and if there was a reasoning from the employer that they're not rehireable or they were infected, Middle Rio Grande will deny their claim over there. And I think that that's the reason why this was put on here. I'm just speaking, this was done before my time, obviously.
If you remove the word part-time from there, now that can be listed as a reason for.
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying we shouldn't.
We shouldn't-
remove that. If anything, just simplify it and add a clause.
Yeah, that's what I'm
If
saying.
you are transferred from part-time to
But it
full-time,
already
you
says
might-
that.
You must.
It already says that right here. It says each
We
employee,
don't need to do anything to it.
then we don't need
As
to do
long as the
anything.
board understands how we're gonna move forward with this.
Because it already says here, each employee appointed to a regular position shall be required to complete successfully the probation period of 3 months. And then if you cross-reference to employee benefits, it says, in order to be eligible for benefits, you must be here for 3 months in your 90 days. So
But it's
there's
not specifying when the 3 months are.
It's
Not
so,
specified
ma'am,
by
if you read too much into the policy, you're reading way before into it. The way I see it is, I move a part-timer to a full-time position, I still gotta put him on 90 days, because I'm not saying, he
That's
might
what it
have
says.
done an excellent job as a part-timer, but then in the full-timer, you have him having
doing
start having
different.
issues because they're different, they're doing different work, and then what happens then? You have to let it go. So, you gotta look at both sides. And the way I see it is, it's 90 days, because I've told you before, and we have discussed that, and I always file the 90-day compliance period on a full-time. And if you're gonna amend the policy, it's still, even if you amend it, it still states that you gotta, if you're moving from part-time, even though he's done his probationary period as a part-timer, that just means you're keeping, as I see it, as part-time, but now you're gonna move him into full-time, that becomes another category, and now he's gonna do his 90-day probation as a full-time because he's not gonna get all the benefits until the 90 days over. And once you put him after the 90 days, he still starts getting his part-time, his vacation, sick leave and all that, but he won't get raised until the following year.
Okay, Commissioner, I understand where you're coming from, and I am trying to understand it from the other point of view. My whole thing is like, we already got to a conclusion of what we're interpreting in this. But my whole thing is, and also too, one quick thing, because I don't want to sidebar it, and I don't remember having this conversation with you about full-time employees.
I didn't say.
Oh, okay,
I said with Oscar.
Oh, okay, I thought you said with
No,
me, I was like, I don't remember ever having a conversation.
My words were
Okay.
exactly with Oscar.
Okay, so I'm glad that we cleared that up. But to go back, I don't understand why we don't want to reword the policy so that way it's beneficial, so that way our employees can understand it and comprehend it. Right now, it feels like we have a policy that you're going to leave in there that's going to muddy the water so we can hide in the miscommunication. I really do think like we should take a time, because even if you're saying full-time and part-time and what you're saying, and I respect it. If y'all guys are saying this has been done like this, and I get it, you could go into a different job description like you just said. But why wouldn't you want to change the policy to make it more comprehensible for everybody that's reading it?
If anything, I would say change the word appointed to a regular position to transition to a full-time position. And keep it simple.
Well, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
I would say that's like the best change to make sure it's 100% clear that there's no arguments, just changing those 4 words.
And if I may say that, if I don't have the answer, I refer them to you.
Right.
Go talk to them. I don't take it from me and say, I'm gonna go talk to the, Mr. Ortiz, the
I don't
human
feel like that's
resources.
relevant.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go
feel
talk.
that's relevant.
Hold on, ma'am.
I
got
don't
the
feel
floor.
like how it's relevant.
Please.
I just
I'm being
don't feel like how
respectful
it's
to you.
relevant.
Please. I always refer them over to Mr. Ortiz because I don't want to interpret the wrong thing that he tells me, and then I turn around saying something else that he did not explain to me. And we can always turn words around, and that's why the employee, I don't mean to say it, if he's got any questions, come talk to your human resource.
And that's why I was saying that I didn't feel like it was relevant to you for you to say all that, because I knew where you were going with it, and you were trying to make it seem like if I complicated, hold on, allow me to finish like I allowed you. That's why I was telling you that I felt that your comment was irrelevant, because at the end of the day, I knew where you were going with it, and you were trying to make it seem like if I complicated the matter. I did speak to Oscar multiple times on the situation, and this has been 3 months in the making that I've had asked on back, and I respected every single time that he told me. But with Oscar likes black and white like I like black and white. So if I bring something to Oscar and I tell him, hey, but what about this, then we're able to have a discussion about it. What I'm telling you right now is that you're so bent out of shape to say, no, let's leave the policy as it is because it's always worked like this, and let's just remove this word and let's use that word, and I'm motioning the table because I feel like this is something that we need to put a little bit more attention to make sure that we get it right. So for us to sit here, for us to sit here, you put words in my mouth,
Okay,
but for
we're
us to
gonna-
sit here and go back and forth, I mean, you basically
I have
did
a
the same
motion,
thing.
I have a motion to table,
I'll second.
and a second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. 3.16, discussion and appropriate action. Approval for Road and Bridge Precinct 4 to do a walking trail with lights at the Ashton football field.
Judge, in our budget, in our COs, we have funding to do a walking trail, so we're planning on doing it at the football field. Where
So you're gonna-
where the existing walk,
So are you asking to approval to get quotes?
Right, y'all are doing the work, Commissioner, or a contract?
contract?
Contract.
Well, I think that for right now, Commissioner Odena is just to approve for her to get quotes, not to approve the actual building yet, the actual construction of the walking trail, correct?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.17, approval for Road and Bridge 4 to demolish old admin building off of Highway 83 in Asherton.
Judge, right up where the liquor store is, there's 2 buildings that we gained from the school district. We purchased from the school district. We want to demolish those in case we do the office there, or because there's illegal activities going in that building.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Second.
Commissioner Noguera, this is going to be demolished by your staff, or you're hiring somebody?
By our staff.
Okay.
Is it like a big building,
Those 2 small little buildings.
so that maybe they can use
Ma'am,
Mhm.
Commissioner, when you not be done, make sure you spray it with water. so that way, you won't have that much less.
Okay.
Right here.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona and a second by Commissioner Noguera. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. I heard Noguera. 3.18, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Road and Bridge Precinct 4 to re-advertise and modify plans for Commissioner JP and Constable Office Precinct 4, and this is just to advertise, correct?
Can I get permission to get my cell phone so I can show you guys? I just got the email for the building that was approved back then, Judge. I hadn't seen it. And I just want to make sure, because it consists of Precinct 4 and JP's office. They were separate. Precinct 4 was for the commodity building and my office, and then Precinct 4, 5, and 7, JP was JP's office, Constable's office, in one building. So it's two separate buildings, but together.
It's one building
It's
or two buildings?
Two buildings, but
But in
they're,
the same vicinity?
Yes,
In
yes,
the
right.
same, in the,
They're not a carport, but like a carport.
so this commissioner is solely for you to, you're asking to give you authorization to advertise.
and meet either, I don't know if it would be with you or Mr. Pereira or who, because we need to make sure, because the blueprints are old. And when we got the email from Mr. Hiller, he said that we needed to revisit all that and go over.
So by you doing that, commissioner, just re-advertise for plans, to re-advertise for plans, and then you can get, whatever architects put in for it, and then that's how you can modify the plans. So just have her advertise, Mr. Pereira. Mr. Pereira, have her advertise for plans for the Asherton offices. Whether they look the same as this or they're different, but we'll need to get new plans.
So basically, you have to be a new project.
A new project, correct? Because she's saying that Mr. Hiller told her there might be changes, ¿verdad?
Changes in the light and all that.
Yes.
Hiller, which,
Fisher,
oh, Fisher Heck.
Heck.
Oh, she said that, you said Hiller.
I know that's what I was, I didn't know if there were other plans.
So- So what we'll do, commissioners, just go ahead and re-advertise, and if Fisher Heck wanna put in for an advertising for blueprints, go ahead.
Okay.
So whoever, whether it be Fisher Heck, whether it be the people doing the school, or whether it be Gonzaga, whoever it is, whoever puts in, we'll open them here. Do I have a motion?
So move.
I have a question. Commissioner, the funding for this project, do you know where it's?
The money was set aside already.
It's been set aside, it's been sitting there. It's on CO 17.
I thought 17 had to be utilized already last year.
It's supposed to be used a lot faster, but it's there.
I just wondered because,
It's been it's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yeah, because if it's been since 2017, the COs have to be utilized within a certain time frame.
Right.
So is that CO even active?
Oh, no, it is active. No, the whole thing's active. It's just that as a county, we should be using it a lot faster. I mean, there's delays. I do check in with the attorneys on a regular basis and just to basically inform that the problem that we had with the,
Well, I guess right now, Commissioner Nunez, if you want to ask more of those questions when we come to it actually being approved right now, it's just to approve for her to advertise.
Yeah, because the money should be there. It was put aside, and that's what we borrowed the COs for.
well, a certain amount. I mean,
Because not all the amount is
No,
going to be
I know,
yeah, because the problem back then was that it was like
too much.
too much money for the project.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona and a second by Commissioner Noguera. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We have one abstention. Commissioner Talamontes is stepped out, I guess. 3.19, discussion and appropriate action, approval of joint resolution between the county election administrator and the Democratic Republican Party chairs for joint primary and runoff election contract, public notice publications, hiring deputy, early voting, and election day clerks, purchase election-related supplies.
Judge, I have a question. On the discussion between joint regulation and joint primary, or the county elected, we don't have a county administrator.
She's
Oh, you are?
by the government
Oh, okay.
code, yes.
Sorry, I thought couldn't clarify.
Well, I'm only doing elections administration when it's election time.
Okay,
But the
Thank
larger
you.
title is county clerk.
I didn't,
Excuse me, actually, the title is county election officer.
Okay,
County election.
election officer, okay.
so do we reward it?
County.
In the sense that I'm administrative.
I know what you mean, it's just used interchangeably.
Yeah.
It's just to add on their officer. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Odena, second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, all in favor?
Abstain.
I have one abstention, Commissioner Talamantes. 3.20, discussion of appropriate action for County Judge Marta Ponce, Commissioners Jose Odena, Valerie Julissa Talamantes, and Valerie Rucava to attend the 2026 Basic County Investments, February 3rd through 6th in San Marcos, Texas.
Judge, I'm not going to that.
Do I have a motion?
I don't know if we did that one this past
No,
year.
you did it, you and I.
That's the lightness.
Okay.
So moved.
I have a motion by Alonso Carmona.
Okay.
Oh, Commissioner Odena doesn't need to do that one.
Right, the deal is that once you are part of the academy, what you should be going to is
Summer one.
the summer
Yes,
one,
the
the one in
summer one.
conference.
The advanced.
Yeah, because this is the same
Who's
repetition.
going to this one?
Oh, yes, because I didn't get to go to the first one, and then I skipped the second one because they said I needed to go to the first one first.
Yes.
It's
Okay,
Commissioner
once you
Talamantes
once you
and
do it,
myself.
It's a repetition.
Yes. I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena, all in favor? Any opposition? Excuse me?
Uranda's not going and Valerie's not going?
No. 3.21, discussion and appropriate action approval for Mita Hernandez to attend the 26th County Court Assistance Training Conference in San Marcos, Texas.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Odena, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 4.1, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Investigator Prieto to attend the 10th Annual Conference, Southwest Texas Fusion Center 2025 in San Antonio, Texas.
This was just to recertify, she's already a member of it.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Noguera,
Second.
second by Commissioner Uranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 4.2, discussion and appropriate action, Sheriff's Report.
It's right there on the, should be. Judge, also on the 15th, I'll be going to the valley. I didn't get a question or nothing, but I'll pay the lodging myself. I got a meeting with Hidalgo County and like 17 other sheriffs regarding the House Bill 33 change and Senate Bill 8. We're gonna have a meeting up there with the Sheriff's Association, so I'll be traveling down there.
Sheriff, I have a question on your report. I see that your deputies have all these violations that they're doing. It's about 454 violations, some to include, a lot of them to include misdemeanors, correct?
That's correct.
Sheriff, is there an issue in regards to why these misdemeanors are not being prosecuted?
No, but these are just violations, traffic violations.
I understand that, but I'm talking about like your public intoxication, your possession of drug paraphernalia. Any of those cases not being prosecuted?
No, not right now. But court cases, no.
So how many court cases do we have? And I'm asking that question, Sheriff, because as you know, I'm the sitting judge on the criminal misdemeanor court, and we have received no cases.
This one is the county attorney is wanting me personally to go and take the cases to him, not my investigator that usually been taking them normally. That's why we're not being getting turned over to you.
So I received an email, and you were obviously CC'd on it, Sheriff. This is very concerning and alarming to me because there's over 157 cases, is that correct?
That's correct.
That the attorney, over 157 cases that the county attorney said that he was gonna dismiss, is that correct?
That's correct.
So 157 possible victims and/or if the state is the party that are not going to get information's on or prosecuted.
Correct.
And that's because you yourself are not the one taking them to him.
Yes, he's wanting me to take them personally to him, not the investigators.
So,
Which-
man,
Go ahead.
so what if she has a question on one of the cases? You're supposed to go ask the investigator?
Because they're the ones putting the cases together.
Well, no, my question is, if he has a question on one of the case, he's gonna call you to
Exactly.
ask the investigator, so you're caught in the middle.
That's correct.
Because he doesn't wanna accept it from the investigators.
That is correct.
Let it be shown that.
And he has an investigator also that
Ye-
can do that.
Yes.
And I'm just, yes, go
I
ahead.
feel like the victims are the ones
Are-
suffering.
And that's-
Exactly.
Because of this.
And that's why I'm saying, Commissioner, it's just very alarming, and the sheriff knows, we received an email, because if we don't hit, and you know this, because you used to work in record, or grants, ¿verdad? At the sheriff before, you know, we have to be at the 90% passage, and we received an email, is that correct, Sheriff?
That's right.
We received an email, since I do a lot of the administration right on the grants, and we can't get to the 90% because the cases are not being processed. So the sheriff, I asked the sheriff, there was a discussion on the email, and I was very alarmed and concerned because the sheriff did have a point. The sheriff said, I think almost in all 254 counties in the state of Texas, the sheriff is not the one that goes and turns in the cases. That's why they have investigators. Going back to what Commissioner Carmona said, if you're the investigator on the case, and the attorney has a question for you as the investigator, what's the point of the sheriff being there, correct? So I had a call at my office from a victim here in Dimmit County, and they're upset because the finger's being pointed at the sheriff, or the finger's being pointed at the judge, that we're not moving these cases. But that's not the case. I was told by the sheriff that as of May of 2025, Sheriff?
Correct.
Of this May, so we're talking about May 4, 2025, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 7 months, the county attorney has refused to accept any cases. And you and I both know that in 7 months, there has been crime committed in Carrizo Springs, misdemeanors and felonies. I had that lady call, I'm not gonna mention her name right now, but I have it written down, because there's no action being taken on her case. I talked to the sheriff was like, we've already tried giving it to the county attorney, and he's refusing unless I take it to him. So that's why I wanted to ask on these reports,
I'm
because.
not sure if that same person, they did email us for one case, if they're allowing the investigator to turn over, because they're asking for it, so I don't know if that's the same one or not.
I'm not sure, Sheriff, to
But
be
the
honest with you.
investigator will be taking that over to them.
I'm not sure, Sheriff, I would have to look at the victim's name, but
If the investigator were to take the cases, what is his response? Does he
He's
just
not-
reject them and not accept them, or,
No, he has a note right there in his front, not to accept from anybody other than me.
an elected official can't tell the other elected official what to do?
And DPS secretary is allowed to turn theirs in.
So what is the difference?
It's his rule.
I do know that, obviously we know where the hiccup is. How do we fix it?
I don't have to get
Because
away.
on my end, I have asked questions about it, and that's what I'm saying, like, I know we're up here, we're having a conversation, but we've known about this, to be honest with you. We've known that they haven't been going through. I've asked him myself, why aren't you accepting the things on a personal level? I know people that he has been less than nice to reject it. But my whole thing is like, okay, then what's not being done? What do we need to do? And he gave me a list of how the reports are supposed to go in and how they're supposed to be done. I'm not saying on your part, I absolutely agree with you. If you ask for me personally to go do everything, it becomes next to impossible because of everything else that we take care of. So like on your part, other than if you want to go give it to him, you can go give it to him. But other than that, like I wouldn't even put that stress on you because of all that you take care of throughout policing the whole thing, you know? But having the conversation with him not being here and going back and forth on why it's wrong isn't going to solve our problem. We need to figure out what we need to do. We need to get them to sit down together to figure out what process needs to go through, make sure that the process is being done okay, because you go from here and then you go ask him and he says, well, because none of the reports are being turned in correctly to me. and this X, Y, Z, X, Y, and Z, and I do know that he does nitpick on everything because he nitpicks on everything with me too. Not to say he doesn't just do it to you, he does it to me. Anything that I ask him a question for it, I'll get the fine-tooth comb on it. Anything, any question he has at me, it's like he kind of wants to shut me down before he's even reading exactly what it is that I'm needing for him. So I understand the frustration. I just don't think that us having the conversation up here right now to say, okay, it's happening.
I think we already
it's-
asked him when he came the last
it's
time.
been
We asked him
happening.
here, and I guess it still continues to happen, so we need to know.
So like,
Yeah,
we can get them like both
I mean,
together.
He's been here before.
No, but yeah, but we need to know. That's why, the reason why I'm asking is, I didn't know that since May it's still happening. I thought they were already giving each other cases. I only found out because this lady came to my office to complain about her case. And two, just last week, I found out about the 90% passing rate, Commissioner Rubalcaba, in the email. And that's when I asked the sheriff. And now I'm looking at these numbers. A simple assault, that's in my courts. And I have a problem with that because we have people come to the victims asking, where's my assault case? And it's not, and that's why I'm asking for purposes of numbers, because to me, it's very important that the sheriff's office has 90%, because then he can lose grants that he gets. And that's why, to me,
I agree that.
for you to send an email and say you're gonna dismiss over 157 cases, did you know that, Commissioner Odena? Did you know that?
Personally send the email, because that's what I'm confused on urgent.
That is no, he sent the email, ask the sheriff.
He sent it.
Yes, because Mr. Senna put in a group email to us, we're just showing us where we're at in our percentage, we're at 85%, by August 31st, we have to be
Even
at
90%.
So then you told him, hey, we're below, and his answer was, well, I'm just gonna
No, he
dismiss.
responded to Mr. Senna,
And said, I'm just gonna dismiss all the cases.
because
There's
I'm
one-
the person to turn them in.
Yes, he said there's gonna be 157. And going back to what you're saying about having this discussion, it is very important that we know, because did you know it was 157 cases?
I didn't know it was
See,
gonna be
maybe-
157 cases, but what I was saying, and let me clarify, that is to say, like, we've known about it, because this was the argument that
But
we
we don't know
had.
the extent
I
of
did,
it.
he didn't know the extent of it, but we did knew that it was happening, because this was a disagreement that me and you had when we were doing budgeting.
Correct.
This stemmed from that.
Correct.
And that's what I'm saying, we knew that it was happening, but I will say we didn't know the extent of that it was happening. I just feel like we're up here having the conversation, and if he's not here, we're not really gonna
But
get.
this
to-
conversation wasn't in regards to Mr. Gonzalez. This is asking the sheriff, you have all these cases here. You have all these cases of assaults. You have a public intoxication, drug. I'm asking the sheriff, what are we doing with these numbers? Because if we don't meet 90%, we're in a lot of trouble. That's
Well,
what I'm
and
asking.
actually,
And
you have to be at 90% for us to qualify for the E-grants with the governor's office.
that's what Commissioner, yes, and that's what Commissioner Rubalcaba is saying. She understands because she used to do this. So that's why I'm asking him those questions as to what's the status on these, because if we have to dismiss cases, we have a problem. We have a problem. And it goes back to his deputies are policing, putting their lives on the line, and we're not getting numbers.
You're keeping the same bad people out and jump, because you're not
Yes.
prosecuting any of these cases.
So that,
I didn't know it was to this extent, to.
Me either.
157 cases.
I didn't know,
I didn't know about the email either. But my thing is, we're asking him, because he's the one that's here right now, we're asking him the cases. So my thing is, I wanted to know it, since you can't take them, what if your investigators take it so they get rejected? That's
Well,
what
they'll
I'm-
email him, they'll email, and he has, like I said, he has a sign right there in his front desk, not to accept them from them unless it's me personally at his time.
and that was something that Captain Prieto also put on the email, that the investigators have gone to take them and they're rejected because they have to come from him.
Can we, not table it, but could we request for Mr. Gonzalez to come back into court?
Well, no, but because this is a sheriff's report. So
I know,
that would be a different item we need to put on the agenda, Commissioner.
Okay, so.
Right now, we're just-
put it on the item, on the agenda item, because I feel like, I know that y'all guys keep saying 90% for grants. I'm looking at 157 people that don't have answers. 157 people that are waiting for us to do something and we haven't done anything. So like, it's not, yes, the 90% for the grants and to keep the county going. I'm not sitting here and saying that that's not important. But to me, what's weighing more on me is 157 cases.
Yes.
And again, like I'm telling you, I know where you're coming from because everything you just said, yes, he won't take his cases from anybody else. I've asked him. He's giving me a thing. But what I'm saying, what we could do to try to fix it, because again, 157 people, is maybe get y'all together, and if you need to do a training or host a training and say, hey, this is how it's supposed to be done, something that you and him both agree on, and that people can be witness to the process of what's gonna be done. Because him asking you to take them directly to him is not fair, and it's not right. It's a power move, and,
But when we turn in the cases, we have a list of items that are requested by his office, by the district attorney's office, and they'll go down the list. I mean, if they're missing something, sometimes they can come back, get it corrected, turn it in, you know what I mean? But usually the case, when it's prepared, they go by the list that's required by his office.
by his office, because he gave me that list, because that was the first thing I asked him, like, why are you rejecting the cases? And his response was because that none of them were correct, and I said, well, how do you know if they're correct or not if you're not even, because my whole thing is he told me, hey, they're not correct, how do you know if they're not correct if you're rejecting them before they even on your table? And that was my question to him, and that's when he printed out the list, and he said, because of this. And then I said, okay, I said, well, we need to make sure that this is getting done, and then it kind of stopped my conversation with him, that I was like, okay, well, we need to go to the sheriff and figure it out. I just didn't know that it would continue to happen, and we're 157 cases in, but I do know that there was like an issue or a problem there. But that was my first thing to tell him, is like, if you saying, how do you know that you're rejecting the cases if you're not even reading them when they hit your desk? And that's when he pulled out like the checklist. But on your end, I don't think that you have to go hand deliver them to him. I think that that's why we have employees, to make sure that the county keeps moving effectively. I just think that having the conversation with him and me together would benefit us more than sitting up here and having the discussion about it, and then he's gonna see it on the recording and be upset, and then we're gonna move 10 steps back because he doesn't wanna have a conversation because of, he wasn't there when we had the first conversation.
Well,
I'm just saying, if the goal is to fix it, let's try to find another route to fix it.
Let's have the conversation.
Yes.
Call a special meeting, we have to, why do these people have to be waiting on,
I know.
I keep talking about, until one of our family members goes through something and we wanna know, how come nothing's being done? Let's have it, let's have a meeting.
I think the thing was, we didn't know.
Right.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying, we're finding out right now that it's this bad. I thought it was already taken care of, or at least he was accepting cases.
I will say that on me as well, I didn't know that there was issues there. I just didn't know that, I thought we moved past it, honestly.
Because we already had
I
a
thought,
conversation here with.
100
With him present,
yes.
157 people?
157 cases.
I think that this warrants for a special meeting for sure. For sure, because that's 157 people that we deserve answers to, whether it's a yes, whether it's a no, whatever the case may be, those people deserve some type of response.
And honestly, and this is just my opinion, you hand delivering the cases one by one, even if there's issues within the report, how is that gonna better or speed up the process? If you're still gonna have to go to your investigator, call him in or contact him, however, to correct it or add whatever needs to be added. So what are you being in the middle, how's that going to improve the situation? I don't
But I
understand.
think even Commissioner, if you've been in the law enforcement field, Commissioner Okawa, you know this, working at the sheriff's office, you know that almost, like I said earlier, Sheriff, correct me if I'm wrong, in the 254 counties in the state of Texas, how many sheriffs really go and turn in cases? The sheriffs are not the ones taking the cases to the DAs or the county attorneys. It's their investigators. That's why you have investigators for it. And not the sheriff would be the sheriff, investigator, the deputy. And in some small towns that are very, very rural, like 500 people, maybe, but that's why he has employees to go do it for him. I'm just concerned about, I'm concerned about the victims, don't get me wrong, by no means. As an ex-prosecutor, you know, we have to make sure that justice is sought. But what I'm concerned also, on a grand scheme of things for the county-wise, a lot of grants will be lost if we're not at 90%.
That's correct.
On my end, Judge, I just think that, and this is not directed towards you in any shape or form, I'm sure. As commissioners and judge, we come up here and we have our disagreements in front of everybody. But at the end of the day, if one of us calls and says we need help for X, Y, and Z, we put our differences aside and we do it, because we have to do it. Because again, people like to say we don't have bosses, but we do have bosses. The bosses are the people that are let us in, and we deserve answers to those people. So at the end of the day, because another elected official, whether you're elected official or you're not elected official, you can't tell another elected official to do. We do have a responsibility because again, if this court can do it and disagree as much as we disagree, and still, you never hear about us out of here to say, no, you can't use this, or no, this is that. I mean, neither one of us do that to another, say, no, you can't call me, the commissioner herself has to call me. If my employees call any one of these people and they ask for something, they're met with the same type of respect and response that you guys give your employees. So I don't even think either way, like to say an elected official can't tell another elected official something, I think that that's something that we technically do have to kind of already move away from because it suits us in some ways and it doesn't in other ways.
No. What I meant was we cannot tell an elected official what to do. We can guide them in the right direction, but I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah, but I just think like there should be like a little bit of like.
If I would have known this, we're already finding out right now, 100 million cases. I thought we had already passed
I
this
did too.
issue, because we already discussed it with him as well when he was here.
I thought
So
he
came
was
back.
nitpicking on what he wanted to take
Yes.
in, like, I'll take this case,
Up to
I'll
right
take
now
this
that we're finding
case.
out it's 100%.
See, but that's the thing, Commissioner Talamantes, you probably have more information than us, because I didn't know that he was nitpicking.
I said I assumed, I thought like that's what he was doing. After I had the conversation and we went and I went to go ask him why he was not, because I was curious, why aren't you accepting the cases? Like these people deserve answers. And in my head, and again, forgive me because my days just get busy and I'm dealing with a whole bunch of other things, but in my head, I thought he kind of transitioned into like, I'm gonna take the ones that are complete and that are fully complete, but if we're at 157, he's not even doing that, I assume. So he's not even taking anything still.
That's correct.
I just think, and I know where you're coming from, I'm just saying like, these are kind of the predicaments that we fall into because when we say things like that, and in their head, they hear, well, you can't tell me what to do, you can't do this, and that's, I feel like sometimes that's where that conversation goes. And at the end of the day, we all have a boss and those are the people that vote us into office, and I feel like we should be giving them answers. So I just don't want for any elected official to think like we can't question anybody in their department.
Everybody knows that we can question and we can advise or lead them the right way. It's their thing to do if they want to accept what our recommendation is. But, I mean, it continued to happen, so I guess whatever we discuss and whatever we thought was going to happen.
Because what power do we have as a commissioner's court if he does not do it?
Budget.
That's it? So you have to wait an entire year for the budget?
Budget.
You can't amend the
Budget or
budget?
remove?
You can't amend the budget?
Well, you can. You can.
Okay, so then budget would be an option, and then who removes him? You said remove.
I can give you the government code on everything that can be done. Any other questions for the sheriff on his report?
I just think that before we move on, Judge, I really do think that this is warrant for a special meeting because we have 157 people.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Excuse me, motion by Commissioner Uranda, second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 5.1 discussion. Thank you, Sheriff. 5.1 discussion appropriate action, approval of payday for pay period December 16th through the 19th, 2025 to be January 2nd, 2026. If not approved, request for 1.5 paid for hours worked on December 26th for Treasurer's Office.
So, because this year we were giving off 2 days for New Year's and it's gonna end up being Thursday and Friday. Normally when a holiday is on a Friday, we get paid on a Thursday. But because it's a Thursday and a Friday, that means we're gonna have to get paid on Wednesday. But that's why I'm here asking, I'm trying to do it ahead of time, I'm not trying to make anything retroactive or anything like that. But I wanna see if we can get paid, because the bank will be open on the 2nd. So we can process on Wednesday while we're still in working hours. Because if that wasn't the case, then we're gonna have to come in over Christmas break to get payroll done.
So you want to get paid on the 31st?
No, the way it's set up right now, everybody would get paid on Wednesday, which is the 31st. But that would require my office having to come in on the Christmas break to make that happen. That's why I'm here requesting that if we can do it on the 2nd. If payday can be the 2nd, so we don't have to come in to work on Christmas.
Because if you do come in, you're asking for time and a half.
Yes.
I get it.
Can you not release pay on the 30th?
Say that again?
The 30th? Instead of the 2nd? Can you do it on the 30th?
Well, I would send the file to the bank on the 30th so we can get paid on the 2nd.
It's like a normal payday.
I
Right.
don't see why.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
You have a motion?
Motion?
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry,
5.2.
I was looking at
No, you're fine. 5.2, discussion and appropriate action, approval of TCDRS renewal plan 2026.
Everything stays the same, except the only thing that we're gonna be adding is $50,000 for the additional contribution that we make every year to bring the plan up to park.
The additional 50?
On
Additional
the,
50.
yeah, on the employee contributions. Any other questions? All in favor? Or, excuse me, I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 5.3, discussion and appropriate action, approval of additional pay for employees. Commissioners, just, we had to put it on this one just so we can make the cutoff for the additional pay that we've done for the employees for the additional pay at the Christmas luncheon. The recommendation is to carry it over as we did last year, which was $50 for each month of continuous full-time employment and $20 each month for part-time employment in the current year. So that would translate to a total of $600 for any employee that's been here a year or more, 12 months or more. And for the part-time employees, that's $240 for anybody that's been here part-time, 12 months or more. The volunteers at the Dimmit County Fire Department are not considered employees as it's always been, and the county agents also are not eligible. Co-op employees also qualify for additional pay. That is the same schedule that was created last year.
The co-ops get the same?
No, the co-ops get it as if they're like part-time, the $240 cap.
Okay.
But they've had to been here as co-op for
The whole year?
the whole year. So like if they've been here only for 1 month, then they get $20.
Mr. P, before we would pay the fire department, and we did it, yes, sir?
No, we don't pay
No,
the
there has
park
never been a
organization.
fire department. I pulled up from 2023, I pulled up from 2021.
I'm not
They-
sure about the minutes with me,
Yeah.
because we gave the fire department one time.
Right now they give them, but that's part of the budget, that's for attending the meetings.
I remember last year you gave the fire department, y'all guys collected together and y'all guys
Yeah,
gave them.
out of our own
We gave
pocket.
it out of our
Yeah,
pocket.
out of our own pocket, we
Yeah,
gave
but we
them.
don't, but the
Yeah.
county's not allowed
Because we gave
to.
them money to Commissioner,
It's almost,
yeah.
Because
It's only for employees.
It's only employees and they're not considered employees. Legally, we can't do that. That's what we did last year, Commissioner Noguera. But we gave Commissioner Carmona an envelope, and each of us contributed whatever we had, and then he split it among them.
and then it only falls for the ones that are not
That are-
employed with the.
Correct, because they can, because then
Because
they're
that's-
gonna, they're double dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it only, and we, the three commissioners
Mhm.
collected.
Correct. So it was us that donated last year, remember?
Yes,
And you had,
Is there, I mean, to me, it's like, they volunteer, they put their
I
time and
understand that,
effort
but
in.
this is,
I mean, and we're giving it to the co-ops that are just here part-time, just.
but
during
they're
the school year.
employees, they're employees.
I understand that, but to me, it
But we
seems
needed,
unfair.
I know, but legally we couldn't, that's why, Commissioner. Legally, we can't, because it's like giving a private person money from the court. That's what we had said last year. I mean, we could donate, I'd be more than happy to donate again. Because another thing that Commissioner Carmona has said, because you do have some that are not active either,
Right.
right? And you don't want to give those people
Right.
too. So we gave it to him and he split it amongst them.
If you really want to try something from the county, if anything, on the next meeting, you would have to put something like to increase the attendance dues for December, and they could get something at the luncheon. That's something you could do, because that wouldn't be tied to salaries, but that would still have to go through
It would be,
court.
yeah, which is what we do. Well, we give them a certain amount for attending budget,
For
meetings.
attending meetings.
On the budget, but that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion.
real quick, I had a quick.
Before y'all vote, I would like y'all to consider, because we talked about it earlier in the meeting, there was a couple employees that transitioned. So are y'all gonna wanna make a exception for them, or it's gonna stay the same?
Because I have 2 employees.
Right.
They would fall
They would-
under the part-time
part-time.
because they just moved, they haven't completed the 90 days.
The 90 days.
Okay, so if they're still in the probation period, they can get the part-time?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
for the whole, because they've been here more than a year, so they can get the full
The
240.
200 employees.
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner.
Let's say, for instance, the part-timer, we just hired him 2 months ago. They don't qualify for
Yes.
his,
They get $20 a month.
They get
So if he's
40.
been here 2 months, he'll get $40.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. It's from per month,
I
Commissioner.
know before it was, they had to be here.
Yeah.
No, that's why we're giving them credit for certain
Yeah, we're
days.
giving them credit just so they can have a little something.
And that is the max, I mean, we're giving them, we're paying the difference, so they're getting $600.
Correct.
Oh,
I'll entertain a motion.
I did have a question. Whose agenda item was this?
Mr. Pereira's.
It's not signed.
Well, I requested on the, I put on there to clarify.
No, it's just not signed, and I've had a lot of agenda items that get kicked back. And so I'm just pointing it out that it's not signed. It's taken in, like they wrote it.
Yeah, this is
No
Mr.
information.
This is Mr. Pereira's handwriting and Mr. Pereira submitted it.
There's no signature.
And it was accepted.
By your office, that's what I'm just saying.
Mr. Pereira made sure that he
I'll sign
signed it, and we have to do it. And, because if not, they won't get a paycheck because by the next Commissioner's Court is too short for them to be able to pay out.
No, I
Christmas
mean,
party.
I get it, because I sometimes miss that deadline too, that's what I'm saying. To just be fair, because.
Well, no, I'm always fair. I mean, when it comes to submitting the things, I quite frankly I don't look at this thingy, Mr. Pereira, but
And I
Ms.
probably wanted to
Hernandez,
make
make
sure
a
that I
note
got
that
it
if he
before the
doesn't sign,
deadline.
don't accept it.
I wanted to make sure I got it in before the deadline, I just probably didn't sign it.
So my thing is like the office, because my stuff gets kicked back, so it's not really even with you, it's the office, because my agenda items will get kicked back, but yours went through and it doesn't have a signature or a date.
When do your agenda
No,
items
it's
get kicked
usually-
back?
Every now and then they
Give it a
do.
year to submit.
That what?
No, it is with him too, because he's had a year to submit it.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
do we have time to put it for the next Commissioner's Court for the fire department? Or do we do it like we did it last year? We, as Commissioner's Court, come together and do
Oh,
do a
it wouldn't be payroll, well, it wouldn't be payroll on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
They
it wouldn't be
would-
payroll.
they wouldn't get it like they would at lunch, Commissioner would be on the payrool. So they would-
No, it wouldn't be,
but
it would not
we
be
have to put it
payroll.
in the Commissioner's Court to get it approved.
Yeah.
But would there be enough time for?
Can you do it that fast?
And how much are you
Yeah,
getting?
yeah, because it'll be the 22nd.
Because for the firefighters,
It's the
it's only
accounts
for
payable.
10 people, so it's not like payroll where it's,
Oh.
Yeah, but the other thing on that though, was-
The regular, we're 18, so
okay,
it's 10 active.
oh, okay, because I know that was something that you had said
Yeah.
last year, like he didn't want the inactive ones to get
Yeah.
it, because it wasn't fair
There's
to
10
you.
active firemen, but I got 18 that come from out of town.
yeah, you just have to kind
And
of word
the-
it to increase the December,
Last year we
Or
did
increase the
50
dues.
months.
that's how it
See,
would work.
that's not
So
really
it's
too
not
fair
salary.
either on my end, because then I have part-time employees that have been there the whole
I
year.
know, we don't have to give them, we'll give them.
Yeah, it'll
the
just
monthly
not-
meetings and
Yeah.
I can give them a donation.
I have Commissioner Alonso Carmona with the motion. Commissioner Okawa, you seconded it?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Okawa, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 5.4, discussion and reaction, change order number 5. I think that was for Vega paving, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
This is for Vega paving. Was it an increase, Commissioner, or?
An increase for the, to replace the existing dilapidated T-posts fence.
I'm sorry, to change what?
To replace.
Or replace a fence?
Where they're working on the road, they had to take off the fence in order to do the road correctly in Dimmit. So we need to put the dilapidated, what do you call it?
Dilapidated.
Fence.
Commissioner, this was our bench, the
Yes,
contract?
Can we put the fence in?
Can your employees put the fence is your question?
What's it?
Commissioner Talamantes' question is if the employees can put in the fence instead of the,
I think if it's gonna be done right, it should be, but
But if the fence belongs to Dimmit County, that's what I'm saying. If it was like an owner or a residence, then I would say like, yeah, to make sure that it's exactly what they did, but, or they had that you took off, but since it's a Dimmit County fence, it's like, I'm just one vote, I'm just saying, it's quite a bit of money for a fence, and we have the skid steer with the auger, we have welders.
Yeah, but if it's a private fence, we wouldn't be.
See, that's what I was saying, if it was a private fence, then I would say, okay, let's get a contractor, but you just said, is it a Dimmit County fence?
is it?
There's two fences.
it's a county
But
fence.
Does it belong to Dimmit County?
But they.
Yeah, so that's what she's saying, if
The
it's
ones
a county
working on the
fence.
road, the ones that we hired to do the road, they're the ones that had to remove it so we can do the road. So since they're already there, they can do the fencing.
It's just a sheet.
Yeah, but she's saying that if it's a county fence and the county
Fence
should,
people?
I don't know what.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we have the skid steer, we have the auger, we have a welder. I mean, I'm just
You
looking
get
at
somebody
it
that-
as
But to
shown.
be, since they're already there, they can
Yeah,
just.
I'll make a motion
You're making a motion to what, Commissioner?
to do.
To approve it?
To approve the change order.
I have a motion to approve the change order by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
What's the addition?
It comes out to a total of $27,118.80.
Second, Judge.
That's, I know, but she's just asking Commissioner Talamantes, what is it?
Because I said that if she still does decide that she wants to do the fence, I asked how long the fence was, if a minute is a mile. And I told her that if she does decide to do it, like for us to do it, that I could lend an employee to help her do it, because I do have an employee. But she's saying that she'd rather just get it done. And I said, okay, I respect that.
I have a second by Commissioner Noguera. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Discussion and appropriate action, approve contract with Padilla Brown CPA firm for the 9/3/20 county audit financial assurance for landfill.
Usually we do them in two separate parts, but this time I went ahead and did them together, so they'll do the audit and they will do the financial assurance. For the landfill.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, second by Commissioner Odena, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Five point six, claim docket, general, $570,330.20. Dimmit County Airport, $122.26. Golf course, $14,022. Courthouse security, $4,357.02. Records management clerk, $1,565.81. Utilities, $58,101.18. Rodeo arena, $1,735. Stone Garden, $43,796.75. Operation Lone Star Program 2022, $24,986.98. Dimmit County payroll, $790,989.21. Tax note series 23, $3,968.78. Tax note series 24, $21,717.08. COs 2018, $4,075. SB 22, $12,799.43, for a grand total of $1,552,545.12.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to recess and adjourn the regular meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. The time is 12:44, and I'm going to call the Public Facilities meeting to order. Let the record reflect that on roll call, all parties are present. We do have a quorum. Approval of minutes, regular meeting, November 24, 2025.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Talamantes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion
Judge, I
carries.
have a question
Yes.
on the there a status on the border patrol lease agreement?
I have not received it at my office, no. Mr. Pereira?
No, they're still going out, they're still discussing it with the border patrol people.
2.1, discussion and appropriate action, new business,
My report will be on the next one, Judge.
no action. 3.1, claim docket, $5,097.49, excuse me. Motion by Commissioner Noguera,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena, all in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to recess and adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Talamontes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. This meeting has ended. Thank you.